right. We are finally back from the dead.
Yeah.
Judd'z Budz, episode 157. Wayne Gretzky plus Mason Shaw. As always, your host, Spogsy, joined by my good buddy, Mr. at State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how are we doing? I think the music's still playing.
Is it really? Turned it off. Oops. Mostly capable of talking. No producer Mateo tonight, so things are going to get bumpy because I've pretty much already forgotten everything I ever knew about kind of producing the show. So we'll get through it. But yeah, voice is still a little rough, but compared to like even 4 days ago, it's noted improvement. Like, it's funny because I know like plenty of people joked, like even Isha stepping in on Fellowship, like joking with Joe, like, oh yeah, what's he doing? Just fucking off, like doesn't care. Like, dude, I was incapable of talking. Like it was crazy. I was like whispering, but apparently whispering also just like doesn't help your voice come back. So I just had a couple days of silence.
Dude, when you completely lose your voice and then you try to whisper and it still sounds fucked up, it really fucks with you. I'm like, oh my god, even when I'm like, my voice is cracking when I'm whispering. This is crazy.
Well, dude, it was 10 days. 10 days of no voice. And I was like, it reached a point where you're like, I'm never going to talk again. Like, it's scary.
Dude, 10 days I think like the longest I've gone with no voice is like maybe 3 or 4. 10
I've never had no voice. I've only had like raspy or like really struggling voice. Like I literally could not speak unless it was a whisper. It was insane.
Your son must have been like, yo, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
Yeah, he's like, dude, well, especially because I like, I've always done like bedtime responsibilities. And I had to pass that over to mom because I could not read. Like I tried a couple nights. I would just like flip the pages and like, he's like looking up at me. He's like, the fuck's your problem?
Like, yo, this guy sucks all of a sudden. I am never going to fall. This is terrible.
No, I'm actually his hero. He's like, holy shit. No one is ever going to be better than my dad at the silent game.
Yeah. So this guy, he's nuts. This guy's he's got this in the bag. But yeah, I mean, we're back, dude. First time in 3 weeks. We missed the last 2. The first time you text me like, dude, I have no voice. I was like, funny enough, neither do I. And then last week you're like, how are you doing? I was like, I feel like fucking shit. He goes, good. I don't have a voice. I was like, oh my god, this guy.
Then this week I was ready to go on Monday. You're like, yeah, it's just not happening.
And then I died on Monday again. I was like, this is it was almost the end. It was almost the end of the show.
That's tough, but no, we're back, and there's like way too much to talk about. Not to mention all the things that we've missed the last 2 weeks that have been like very topical, but we've got 8 Stanley Cup playoff series to break down. We've got a lot of wild stuff to talk about because holy shit, was that insane. Couple things that I'll bring up like NHL as a whole, but anything like recently or even from the past couple weeks, you're like, I'm so mad we didn't talk about this. Like, is there anything you want to lead off with?
I mean, I don't know if we were gonna how much time we really gonna talk about the NCAA tournament, but Western Michigan, holy shit. I really did do the full-on homer thing when I was filling out my bracket. And let me tell you, I think I got 2 games right. And the first, like, it was like upset, bro. I was like, this is fucking insane. The first day I was like, I might not get a single pick right. This is fucking crazy. And I really wanted to like have Western Michigan at least go to like the Frozen Four, but I think I just went full on homer. And I was confident in Michigan State before. It just felt like it was their time, but that game was crazy. There was a Cornell the last 10 seconds of the game or whatever. But shout out Western Michigan. What a season. It's an unbelievable program. They've got the new building coming.
So on that though, did you see Ferschweiler on Pat McAfee?
Oh yeah, dude.
It's like, so you guys got like $300 million rink coming? And he's like, oh no, that's up to 500 now. Literally anything I ask for, they give me. It's like what? And the funniest thing with that is he's probably dipping out this summer and going to sign with Philly or something. So it's like, I don't know if I would leave that job. Like, if they're literally just handing you whatever you want, I would never leave. Him and Carl, it's like, this is the best time for you to cash in and go. But I'm torn between, like, they both have like a 10-year blank check. They could be as bad as they want. And there's, but both of them could be in very like uncharted waters now with CHL inclusion. Like, maybe that makes it way tougher for them to be competitive with how they've run their programs up to this point, you know? So like, I don't know, if you're either of them, are you going to the NHL? Obviously, like, for the right fit, right contract, whatever, but like, do you leave what's comfortable or do you stay?
I've stayed pretty consistent in my opinion on this, specifically with David Carl. Like, I'll be honest, they're gonna get a top 5, 6 recruiting class every fucking year. Like, the history there, like, he can ask for whatever he wants as far as like pay goes. They're gonna be competitive every single year, compete for national championships. Like, Denver is just a sweet spot to be in as well. Like, for me, I'm also just so down to just staying where I'm comfortable. Like,
that's true.
Change scares the shit out of me, you know, that's the anxiety or whatever. But
that's right. I mean, Isha has like invited you like 20 different times to move out here.
Yeah. I like, for me, if I'm David Carl, like, it would really take the actual perfect situation for me to leave and go to the NHL, because like nothing would like really fuck with my head more than like how well everything's gone for him at Denver. You go to like a rebuilding team or like a young team that's just starting to get good, it just doesn't go well year one. Like, it would really fuck with my head. I mean, he's been coaching forever, despite how young he is, just given his like path to coaching, it was so unique. But I just, for me, again, like, if I'm David Carl, I've stayed consistent on this. I love that situation he has there.
The flip for me though on that, because I agree with everything you said, but if I'm gonna go like the counter it, I would say he's kind of dealing with a rebuild at Denver. Like, they're not gonna be bad, but they're not gonna be as good. He's not the USA coach, which is good for him because they're also not going to be nearly as good. Like, it's easier to explain and defend, hey, I went to this NHL team, they're dog shit. Of course, things were tough to start. Seeing Denver take a big downturn, like, organically, but also, again, with the CHL inclusion, like, maybe that makes it look worse for him and he doesn't get as many NHL bites later. It's more, is his plan NHL? If so, might as well jump and take it when you are the hottest commodity and you can basically name your price. Versus, hey, I'm going to stay here for a while and then maybe I'll go later. You know, that's really the argument.
I do think if he's going to go, like, he goes now. Like, this is the time to do that. Because like you said, I mean, he's never going to be like sought after more. And like you said, they're losing all those high caliber players like Steve William. Just Steve. But
you're losing 51 minutes and 41 seconds.
That is unbelievable. And like, I felt so bad. Of course, like, the puck like goes off his stick and just like on that winner. But like, obviously nothing. He was unbelievable. But like
real talk,
51 minutes, not in like a triple quadruple overtime, is legitimately asinine.
I think he paced like 38 regulation, which is nuts.
Yeah,
they were down to 5 defensemen, whatever. But dude,
it was crazy, dude.
That game was ass.
Yeah.
For a good tournament and like good teams being there, like, Denver was not good to start.
They looked dead. Like,
third period, they were fine, but like first 2 periods, it wasn't horrible. Even Western dominating. I felt like it was more Denver not playing their game. God bless Davis, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
Wildly to coach
he did it again, a couple of those saves. Like, just like we saw last year. Was it the BU game or is it the BC game he made? Oh, no, it was the championship. It was the BC era. Yeah, it's BC game. Like, was it the diving stick save that he made in that one? And then he did it. He had like 10 bell saves again in the national championship game when they were already down 2-0 too. And it was just like, I think once Western Michigan scored that first goal, I think the shots that were like 18-2 Western Michigan right after that, which is crazy. And obviously Denver ends up waking up, but yeah, I mean, just a fucking crazy tournament for the weird game. Like you said, that game was not. It was weird. It was like you would expect it to have been a sick game, and it was like I don't know. It wasn't like the greatest watch of the world because how bad Denver was.
No, but the championship game was like I don't care what the final score was. Like that was a very good game. St. Louis, I gotta say, like found some cool spots to go. Like we did a pretty good job of like picking out good bars, breweries, restaurants, whatever. But I feel bad because like there's no hate here, but like it was a shithole. Like weirdly, like I've been to St. Louis before. Like I was never gonna say it was like an immaculate city, but it just seemed very run down. Like half of the businesses were like shuttered up and closed. I don't know how much of that was pre-COVID versus post. It was just kind of a bummer because like there were really cool pockets. Like it's a cool area. And I know that the burbs, like the players that go there and play for the St. Louis Blues, like never leave. They love it there. But it was just like, I don't know, it was a little bit of a bummer, I guess is the best way to put it. On top of that, they claim they have like banners around saying that they're like, you know, like Hockey Central, like they love hockey. And like you couldn't find a non-Blues game in 99% of the bars. It was an impossible task. But there were a couple that were fucking gems.
Yeah, no, I went there a couple summers ago for a couple days. It's an interesting town for sure because like you said, like you actually have there's just like pockets of spots that are like really cool and like really cool bars and stuff.
Did you go
just
to
like
one called
hopping from one, like going from one pocket to the other one? It's like I might die.
Right.
Like it's crazy. Like just like the evolution of that city from like the last however many years. It's been a lot of that's just getting teared down, but yeah, no, you can definitely find some pretty sweet spots in St. Louis. It's just getting there is can always be an interesting challenge. I went to a crazy like street bike race there where it's like there's this part of town like 15 minutes out away from like where Anheuser-Busch is, like the brewery. And it's just like there's a neighborhood. And it's like there's a bunch of sick bars, and there's like 5,000 people, and it's like all like there's one strip where it's like right before the final turn, and it's all like houses owned or lived in by like 20 to 30-year-olds, and it's fucking chaos. Like it was so fun. It was like absolute debauchery for like 4 hours, just like these different heats of like street bike races. It was crazy. But anyways, St. Louis is interesting. And all that to say, shout out Western Michigan.
Yeah. And on top of that, real quick shout out. We were, Isha and I were hanging out with some of our friends here locally earlier today because we're working on some collaboration beers. Delicious one that they just dropped, IPA called Work From Home. Highly, highly recommend getting out to Plymouth if you guys have not checked out their tap room. Massive tap room, TVs everywhere, really good beer. We need to pull one up here. Again, apologies to everyone for the hiatus and lack of communication around it. Our boy, a regular Flyer Voracek, just in time to discuss McKenna's evisceration of the WHL if there's time. Holy shit, things are going good for him, but also strong indications that he's going to Michigan, which makes me extremely unhappy.
Yeah. I mean, Caden Lindstrom's going to Michigan State. Can
we get Ryder Ritchie to the Gophers?
That's what we should try to make that happen, to be honest with you. It'll be sick. It's interesting. I was listening to Cam Robinson talk about it. He's like, he really thought that Medicine Hat or like the CHL fucked up not getting Medicine Hat like a Mem Cup.
I agree.
And like there are a couple guys that are, I mean, again, like Lindstrom didn't even play this year because of back problems, but he's going. Sounds like there's a good chance McKenna goes. There might be a couple more, but the CHL NCAA thing is really fascinating to me because there's just been a couple like surprising ones where I'm like, uh-oh.
What's going to be interesting to me though, like selfishly, what happens to high school hockey in Minnesota when some of those guys might get plucked now to go play in the WHL way sooner because they can still go play college? Like, I don't think it'll be like a majority, but like I think there are some guys that would be like top tier high school guys that just aren't here anymore because that's a very appealing opportunity if you can go do that as a 16-year-old, right?
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like Minnesota's got to be at least a little bit different, just given how crazy that high school tournament is and how much like those kids look forward to it. So who knows though? Like you said, it is a interesting opportunity to go play in the CHL. There's going to be
WHL draftee here.
There he is, dude.
I just had to say goodnight to the buddy quick because I didn't see him all day. Logan, you remember this guy?
The PowerPoint.
The wave is so good. All right, I love you, bud. All right.
Bye, buddy. Beauty.
I can't believe he actually waved at you.
Yeah, that rocked.
He usually doesn't wave at actual people, let alone people on a screen, unless it's Barney.
That's my boy. We hung out last time I was in Minnesota a lot, and we were having a ball.
I just hope you didn't say any of the things to him that you said to my dog.
No, it didn't. Don't worry.
Good.
I didn't poison his brain.
We've got a filter that's positive.
Sometimes. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of curious just on this topic because we're already on a weird tangent. We're just going to keep on talking about whatever we want to until our, I think, first guest that we've really had on here that's out of our little like wild circle to talk about one of the playoff series. So I'm curious. Some of these guys, like they're studs in their league and they're going to come in and they're still going to be super skilled, but some of them aren't going to be built for, more or less a man's game in college hockey. Are there a couple guys that stand out to you right now in the CHL that you're like, this is a guy that's going to come in and not only like be the right skill level, but like no one's going to be able to like throw them off their game with size, physicality, experience, whatever. Like who is going to come in if they land in the right spot? Who will be the best college player next year that comes from the CHL?
I mean, like, I do think like Cade Lindstrom might be that guy. Like, I think
feels
moving
right.
to this,
Him, like, do you think a guy like
hockey was such a good
comes?
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, yeah. I mean, I'd still look at Lindstrom. I mean, he's coming into like the perfect spot for him too. But like, just given the fact that he's had such a bad like 2 years with injuries, the fact that he's going to be able to come in and get settled, and I mean, playing only on weekends.
That's like, huge for him.
That's the thing for him. Like, he needs to get healthy, like, as quick as possible, obviously.
Like, wait, I played 2 games and then I get a week off?
Yeah. So I do think it's going to work out really, really well for him. And I mean, like, this kid, when he's healthy and he's feeling himself, like, he has no problem with physicality. Like, this is a big, strong dude who skates well. He fucking hits everything that moves. He's just, such a complete player with such high fucking upside, how good he is. So we'll see what it looks like a year off of hockey after last year in his draft season. I mean, he only played like 30, 40 games or something like that. But I just think the schedule is going to line up for him to like have some success here, just as far as like be able to like recoup, get his body right. He's gonna have the opportunity to come in and get settled, obviously, in the fall first. So I think he might really take off, like hit the ground running in college hockey.
Well, let's stick with Lindstrom there and talk Michigan State. Is there anyone that's even in the same conversation with them for being front runners next year for the Frozen Four?
No, there's just all these other teams. There's such high turnover. Like, it's crazy.
They're keeping their big guys, and they already, I genuinely believe, I don't care that they lost the first game. That doesn't like make me wrong. I think they were the best team in college hockey last year. Like, I think they were better than BC.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, to be honest with you. Like, they are fucking legit. And like the Van Saggy kid's gonna go. He has a potential to be like a late first rounder too. But now he's gonna be back there. Like, he is. That's another player, dude. But I mean, the fact that they're bringing in Lindstrom, we'll see what happens with the goaltending situations, obviously. But
so, who is the most hated draft pick in Minnesota Wild history?
Oh, I actually don't even know anymore.
Let's go recency bias.
Oh, yeah. Well, did name start with C? Last name start with S? Charlie Stramel.
Yeah. Charlie Stramel. Do Minnesota Wild fans forgive and forget all about Gabe Perreault if Charlie Stramel gets Isaac Howard to the Minnesota Wild? Because he is not going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That has been made extremely clear.
I can't believe that.
I don't know what they did, but he's not happy.
I I feel like it's one of those things you have to wonder if it would have been different if they made that run to the fucking national championship game. Like, because they all think that they probably are the same boat. They think they're the best team in college hockey this year. And you got to wonder if like he ends up winning national championship, does he end up signing? I mean, who knows if like
I disagree entirely. I think something happened with the Lightning. I think he planned on signing after this season and something went sideways. Cause like, dude, they were like posting stuff and like promoting his Hobie candidacy. Like,
well, I mean, yeah,
but like they thought things were good. And then something happened and he's said in interviews since, he's like, yeah, like we just aren't on the same page. Like, don't see things the same way.
Oh.
And to me,
get him over here.
That says he's going back to school because he does not want to go to the Lightning, not because he wants to go back to school. And like, sure, is he mad that he's going back to school? No. But would he rather be joining the Lightning and being a black ace / guy that maybe plays bottom six for them? Fuck yeah.
Right.
And especially like, dude, Lightning, it's a pretty cool place to land, as we've seen. I just feel like they did something wrong. I'm not saying this is like Stevie Y, like trying to murder Martin St. Louis bad, but like it's something happened there and I want to know what, and I want to know why, but it could be really interesting if he's a free agent. Dude, the Wild can make a pretty good pitch. He's a Minnesota boy. Him and Stramel are boys. Stramel's coming here. He'll absolutely have an opportunity. I think that it could be a really interesting proposition, and I'm probably going to bring it up several times until he's actually a free agent and signs somewhere. But
I'm just gonna bring up the people on the street that don't know what I'm talking about. What do you think? How do you think? What do you
think? You're better than me?
You think I can better than the Iceman though? Like, what do you guys think? Or like, please shut the fuck up about that.
Maybe Waggle can put together a compelling enough package for him to keep him here.
Eric, the bartender at the drops, he'd be like, please stop talking about that fucking Michigan State college hockey player, for the love of God. Like, I'm like, but like, think about it. Wouldn't that be sick? He's like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Please stop. Just manifesting, bro. That's how it works.
So NHL, let's just talk about our teams. Boston is going to end up 5 or 6 in supposed draft order. Granted, the draft lottery could change things. Penguins will end up somewhere between 7 and 9. I can't remember the last time one, let alone both of our teams had top 10 picks. It's going to make things way more interesting for us leading up to the draft, especially because we don't have a Wild first round pick to talk about. Obviously a bummer year for both teams in very different ways. Give me your early indication though. Like for you, if you are the Boston Bruins, who's likely the guy that you're praying for / targeting in that 5-6 area?
I mean, I can tell you who I have a funny feeling they end up.
Not a prediction. Who do you want?
I mean, like, all things being equal, somehow, some way, scouts have really galaxy brained themselves into letting James Hagens fall to like 5 or 6. That's like a dream scenario for the Bruins, obviously. But like, just given where they're at and the need for like a legit center, like I have a nagging suspicion. I wouldn't be shocked if like they end up with like a Caleb Desnoyers.
That's kind of what I figured you were going to go with.
I think that's just what's going to happen. I mean, like, it's fine player. Like I like him, but I was really hoping they'd at least get 4th so you have a chance at like a guy like Hagens or Martone or whatever. But I mean, again, like just listening to, yeah, I mean, like who knows? Maybe they end up like Frondell, Eklund, those would all be great. So
no. Eklund is falling to the Penguins. Get away.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Who is someone that like you could see a team talking themselves into at 5 or 6 that you would be disappointed in the Bruins selecting? Not that you don't like the player, but at that spot, you would be like, really?
I don't know. This draft is so fucking weird.
It is.
It's tough to even like gauge outside of the top 5. or 6. God, who would that player be? I mean, going off this is not going to happen, but like a player that I know that they would love if they were picking in the middle or the end of the first round would be like a Malcolm Spence. Like if you think about like coming into the season, he was up in the top 10, and that's like such like a wet dream player for the Bruins where it's like, I don't know, he's big, he's really mean, he somehow scores all the time, and he's like this power forward winger. He's gonna work in the NHL, and I think like it's fascinating. He's got like a decent skill set, but like it's just this whole thing is just a tenacious animal that somehow produces points. And he just he's a guy that's gonna probably not take a whole lot of time before he ends up in the NHL. Again, like this season, he's been fine. He's been good. He's put up decent numbers. So I don't think they would actually do it. Like I don't think it's even really a possibility. But just thinking back to like what everyone's preseason rankings were looking like, he was right around that 6th spot. So like it would have made a ton of sense as far as like the Bruins doing that. But it's interesting. Like there's supposedly like rumblings about like front office changes, which obviously isn't gonna fucking happen because like no changes get made here.
They've already said no changes are being made, haven't they?
Yeah, literally. Like the fucking the WEI was like, oh, it sounds like there'd be a big front office, like someone stepping down. And it was like 18 hours later, the Bruins like, nope. Where the announcement is that we're putting out a statement that we suck this year. And we're confident in the guys that are making all these decisions to keep doing it. And everyone was like, oh, God. Oh, no. As long as they listen, I just need them to fucking re-sign Husadinov. He says he thinks Boston's the perfect city for him. He loves it here. He really wants to sign an extension, so fingers crossed. It was crazy to me that Russo was on the pod, or was on this podcast or on Twitter like a couple weeks ago, talking about how like the Bruins at first weren't even planning on extending him. I was like, I am going to die if that happens. I'm going to if they don't.
Russo has been saying it this whole time. He's like, I'm pretty sure they're not even going to qualify him.
It's crazy, but whatever. But yeah, anyways. It's just uncharted territories here. But if you would have told me that Morgan Geekie was going to score 32 goals this season and they were going to miss the playoffs and they were going to be a bottom like 5 or 6 team in the league, I would have like. It's shocking to see how this season worked out. And my God, if anyone needed confirmation that David Pastrnak's one of the best players on the planet, holy shit!
Dude, just ask Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah. Dude, did you see? I don't know what Connor. It's just his phone, like the video. He was tweet the video of McAvoy talking about it. And I was like, he looks like he's like the Holy Spirit. Like he was like the lighting was insane.
He looks like he's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, it was like card. He looked like he was dead. Like it was crazy. He was like just pale. It was like the lighting was insane. And I just like couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, what the fuck is this? I didn't even listen to it with audio. I was just looking at the fucking video. Anyways, just God, what a shit show this season. So glad it's over. Oh my God.
Yeah. You and me both. Well, actually, mine's not over. It's still being played right now. It's the first time I've ever not cared about Penguins Capitals game. It's like I want the Penguins to lose. They could end up anywhere between 7 and 9, so it's later. Like
Flyer Voracek just said to McQueen.
I had that up on the screen for a while and you ignored it.
I think I was just in my own world. That would be another one. I wouldn't hate it. It just hasn't played a ton of hockey.
You hated
very little hockey this year.
You would hate it at 5, right?
I get it though. Like he's because I mean, like before he got hurt this year, he like was literally 3-4 points per game. It was insane what he was doing. And he's got such a high profile. So like
send him to the Gophers.
It would be aggressive, I think, just given how much time he's missed. But when you look at like what they need, a legit high ceiling, high impact two-way centerman with his skill set, his size, his physicality, like would not be the worst addition, but it would make sense for them to do it. Again, I like other players probably a little bit more, but so maybe that'd be a better answer, I guess.
Fair. So for Pittsburgh, late single digits, who do they need to grab?
I mean, if you can end up with like a Frondell UR, that would be incredible. I think he's going to go early. I like a guy like Eklund would be awesome, obviously. Trying to think, like, their prospect pool in general is got a couple
Pretty minimal.
Yeah, they pretty much have needs all over the place.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about need.
Yeah,
he's the best player.
Yeah, I mean, I love a guy like Lyndon Lakovic, just a 6'5" power forward winger, scores goals, legit skill, like just tears it up. Last couple of years, the WHL. His skating is like vastly improved over the last 2 years. He's so fun to watch. So like, if you end up with him at like 9-10, like that would be awesome. I fucking love Lyndon Lakovic. He's just such a fun player to watch. He's fascinating. But yeah, I like any of those three would be, again, any high ceiling, high upside you can take a home run swing at, you go for it.
Whoever has a really high ceiling and like a non-existent floor, like that's who you take for sure. Yeah. Defer to next. So it's funny. A lot of people are like, Pittsburgh's going to end up like winning the lottery and getting the first overall pick. And I'm like, no, it's not how this works. Next year that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not
this
yet.
year, if the Penguins win the lottery, like no one really cares. Like, don't get me wrong, there's sick guys at the top, but if they get McKenna, people will break things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, actually. And it would be so like this league. Like, dude, people want to say league rigged for Crosby going to the Penguins. I won't even argue it. Like, it's very plausible.
Like,
they're about to be shipped off to Vegas years before Vegas was even ready for hockey. Yep. Also, funny, Isha and I addressed it on today's hot takes that dropped for Fellowship of the Rink. Jeff Merrick brought up on his show earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, I don't even know, but the Pittsburgh Penguins successfully accomplished salary cap circumvention because Sidney Crosby lived with the team owner.
Oh my God.
He's got an okay point. Like,
tell you what, guys making some points here.
Like, you can live with your teammate, but your teammate actually owns the team too. That seems. Also, why is that a thing? Like, if you're an owner and you want to build like a full out like complex that all of your players can live at together, and that's a benefit that lures them in. Like, dude, imagine if like Columbus Blue Jackets did that, and all of a sudden they're like a hot spot to go play. Like, all the power to you. Not every owner is going to do that.
Yeah, I like recreate like college stars. God, that'd be chaos. That would be insane.
Dude, just imagine Celebrini and Will Smith living in like college dorms down in San Jose.
Oh God.
Toffoli has to go there every time he scores a goal.
He shows up with like a pillow. Like, oh, there you go.
Guys, wife kicked me out. Whose couch am I on?
Oh God.
Yeah, that's all right. Whoever, Hoppy, who should the Vikings draft in the first round next week? First off, great call out because I forgot the draft is next week. I'm like so like off the calendar and everything. Also, this is like the least informed I've been on an NFL draft in a long time, other than the fact that there's like no good quarterbacks. So I don't have a good answer for you. By early next week, I'll probably think I have a good answer and probably be wrong. But NFL draft, very fun. I enjoy the NFL draft. The first round. After that, I just kind of drift out. But
also, it's not something I don't think I've ever actually watched. I just don't. I don't know.
Half of it's just fun to see how ridiculously some of them can be dressed up.
Yeah, that does rule. Actually, that's true. But
how about Isaac Howard's get up for the Hobie?
I mean, draft night, Hobie Baker. Like he says, he's the best looking guy. Might as well be the best dressed guy. You like. Such a beauty.
I love that. That's so good, though.
Something else. Again, future Minnesota. I'm just gonna start saying he's a Minnesota Wild prospect now. Actually, I'm just gonna say that he's one of our prospects. So,
dude,
next prospect ranking is gonna be funny.
Pool ranking. We have to put him at like 3.
Literally, what I was just saying. I was like, that next pool is gonna be ridiculous. Everyone's gonna be so confused.
I will support it publicly. Mm-hmm. Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. I love that gif. Man, fair. We might have our guest jumping on here any minute now, assuming he doesn't back out for other obligations. We'll see. Let's just like soft tease into playoff series talk. Like overall, what do you think about this year's bracket, how everything lined up? Like we don't have to get into any like specifics, but like good draw, bad draw.
I love it. Like
very much.
The fact that we've got Battle of Ontario, Battle of Florida, like Dallas, Colorado is going to be unbelievable. Kings and Edmonton may play in the first round every year in perpetuity for the rest of like our lives. Like,
Gretzky Bowl, baby.
Yeah. I am very, very excited. I think it's going to be like in the East, it's just going to be a murder fest. Like, and I just love it. I can't, the fact that we're getting the Battle of Ontario for the first time in, what was it, 20 something years, maybe? I forget the last time they actually played, but that's going to be fun. So I'm very excited. I think it's a phenomenal bracket. Really fired up.
Yep. And that is a perfect transition here to bring in our guest to talk about the Battle of Ontario, Zach Phillips. Zach, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I got you guys. My mic working. We're all good.
Oh, yeah, you're good. We're good. Right, and yeah, our version of Zach Phillips on here is gone today. So our productions are totally haywire. Plus, I just came off of 3 weeks on LTIR with upper body injury. I lost my voice for 2 weeks. It was insane.
Yeah,
so
that's never
we're
really
slowly
good
working
when you're
back
on the mic. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'm glad to hear that you got your voice back. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, you've been all over the place lately. I know you got your post-game shows for the Leafs. You got one coming up here tonight that everyone should go check out. You're doing all the production for Merrick. Anything else you got going on production-wise?
No, that's pretty much it. Just help the boys over at Leafs Nation on anything they got there, anything with Merrick. And then, yeah, the one game of the year that I don't think anybody in the entire world cares about at all. I've got to do a post-game show for tonight, but regardless, it's on the schedule, so you got to do it.
Dude, I'm a Penguins guy, and like this is a weird time where like I don't want them to beat the Capitals. I don't think that's ever happened before. So
yeah,
better draft pick.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Before we talk Battle of Ontario, just high level on the playoffs, like remove that series.
Mm-hmm.
What's the series that you have for appointment television every night that it's on?
It's perfect as well because it goes from one to the other. It's the Battle of Florida, and then it's Edmonton and LA. Battle of Florida, just I don't really need to say much other than the history of it. And then LA, Edmonton, like the people in Edmonton that I've heard talk about this feel very, very confident. I don't think they should be. I am not really that high on the Oilers here going into that series. And I just, there's a few reasons. I mean, I'm someone who likes chaos and encourages that. And like, if the Oilers go down in this series, which by the way, they're on the road and the LA Kings are unbelievable at home this year, there could be mass panic in Edmonton, which I want to see. And I want to see it bad. I got to be careful, like hockey karma, you're talking about that going into the Battle of Ontario, but I want chaos in that series. I think LA could take that one. So those are the two for me.
I feel like neither of those teams can go in confident.
No, I mean, LA just has it like looking back at the history of that rivalry. It's like Leafs going up against the Bruins every year. No matter how good you are, you're looking, you're like, well, they always got us. It's like you're probably feeling that if you're LA to an extent. You've got a lot of the same guys who have lost year in and year out against the Oilers. And then if you're the Oilers now, it's like, okay, Stuart Skinner, what are you going to get there? Who's actually healthy? Is Trent Frederick going to be healthy? You lost Matthias Ekholm for an extended period of time. I think McDavid's fine. I think Draisaitl's going to be fine. Like from everything, it seems like they're just resting these guys. Even I was hearing that McDavid was probably ready to go for a while and just they were like, yeah, you're not playing. And then he forced his way back. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that either side could necessarily go in that confident, but I do know some of these Oilers fans are like, yeah, it's done. We'll be in round 2. And I want them to squirm.
I wouldn't mind that either. And I mean, Z, step in if you disagree, but I feel like that series literally comes down to one player for me. Do we get a fully healthy or close to it at home? If he's there,
well, it sounds like he's out. It sounds like
is he out for sure out? for the whole
If
series.
he's in, he's like half of Matthias Ekholm. Like,
Yeah.
that's the
Then
thing.
I'm with
He's in
Zach.
rough shape. Like, they were like, this could be very bad.
Yeah.
But like, tell you what though, fucking the last couple of years, Draisaitl might be better when he's hurt. When he's like playing on one fucking leg, he still
Yeah,
scores
fair
like
enough.
6 goals. He's unbelievable. But I am gonna end up taking LA. Just riding the vibes. The fact they have home ice, they've been insanely good at home. Like, they're defensively, they're like, I think they might be top in the league. Like, as far as like just high danger chances against and everything. Somehow the goaltending's just stayed fine.
Makes no sense.
I don't know. It's shocking. But I think I'm going to end up to go with the vibes that they have to win eventually here. So, like, I can't believe it's those two again. Like, it's just every.
I mean, but to that point, man, for all of our listeners here that are the loyal Minnesota Wild fans, like, you could say the same thing about Minnesota Wild. They got to get past the first round someday. And this might not be the year, but Zach, do you give the Wild any shot to get past Vegas?
I do.
Fuck yeah.
The thing with Minnesota that's really interesting is what's going to happen with Zeev. I say his last name wrong every time. So Byam. I don't know. You tell me how it's the right way to say it.
Just call him Zeev. You're good.
But he was quarterbacking power play 1 this morning. And there's a part of me that just gets like, I think Cale Makar is in a world of his own. So when I say his name, like, I don't want people to be like, yeah, this guy calling him the next Cale Makar. But there's that Cale Makar out of college into Colorado, that first year vibes that I get from him, where it's like, it could just electrify the city, the team, the locker room, just as a whole, like, where he jumps in, he's this offensive threat. He's a young guy, gives them some energy, build off of what you're already getting out of Boldy and Brock Faber, and just kind of keep rolling with that. Get a little bit of the goalie magic that you can get out of Gustafsson, and then maybe some with Fleury there, where, I mean, look, I don't think that we're going to see the guy too much. And if you do, it might be like bad situation for the Wilds, calling what it is, but just him being around just feels like it's good vibes as well. And then there's an X factor in all of this, and it's, what the hell does Kirill Kaprizov decide to do? You know, he's one of those guys who could just single-handedly be like, I'm not leaving. You're not kicking us out of this series early, and I'm going to make this a problem for you guys. So seeing him come back, seeing what he's able to do once he gets in the playoffs, if he is able to like stay healthy or get towards being at full, I mean, I give them a shot. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I pick Vegas. I think they're going to win, but I do think the Wild would have a shot. I don't think that door is just closed.
I only have one series that I think is like flat out decided already, which I'm sure it'll, because of that, I'll be wrong. But I really feel like outside of Carolina, New Jersey, any series can go any way.
Yeah. I'm on the same page. It's poor Devils, but
if Devils are healthy, that's an awesome series.
Yeah. If Hughes is playing, Hamilton's good, it is. It would be exciting. They're not. I mean, like, you don't want to just write them off because it could just flip, like you said, but I just don't think that. I don't know. Personally, I just don't think that they're going to be able to overcome that. I don't think that Carolina is going to allow that to happen. I don't think Carolina's like weak. I don't think Carolina has enough holes from top to bottom for a team like New Jersey to overcome them like that. They're going to have to lose to like a good team. They're not really a team that, in my opinion, is set up to be upset.
I think it's a weird year where they make it to the finals, even though everyone thought it was a down year, because their path looks good. And they're just a disciplined Rod Brindamore team.
I am a little bit against, because I feel like the team coming out of the Atlantic will be able to go through them.
If they don't get bludgeoned on the way. That's the problem. Otherwise, I'd agree.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like we're going to see one of Toronto, Tampa, Florida come out. I mean, just fuck the Sens. But it's going to be one of them. I kind of feel like it's going to be Tampa who wins that Battle of Florida. I could see that thing going 7 and being a coin flip. I just get that vibe, like a little bit healthier. They missed some time. They missed some time. When I say that, I mean, like, they didn't go to the Stanley Cup Finals, so they got some rest compared to what they had for those couple seasons in a row. Vasilevsky's playing like Vasilevsky. You got rid of some pieces that everyone said you can't recover from this, and it was like, oh yeah, there's Brandon Hagel who scores 35 goals. And what's that, Big Willie? There's Brandon Hagel who scores 35 goals, and yeah, none of them are on the power play. You got Kucherov who's in the Hart conversation. Could have won Art Ross. Add back McDonough. Like, they just didn't miss a beat. Feels like they're healthy. They're ready to go. They've got John Cooper. Like, I kind of get the feeling that that's a team that could just go on another run. And if you get through Florida, like, I mean, Toronto was 4-0 against them in the regular season. If they meet up in the second round, I don't feel that confident that it's just, oh, easy done. Like, we beat this team all year. If they go through that first round, they'll be feeling good about themselves.
For sure. And be honest now, we're amongst friends. Are you nervous about the Ottawa Senators?
Yeah, I'm nervous about the Ottawa Senators. Dude, I don't know if I'm nervous about the Ottawa Senators or if I'm nervous about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I think that's it, dude. Like, I think that's probably the right answer every time, no matter who they play in the first round. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, like, that is the right answer.
the problem for me, I despise Sens fans. I have dealt with Sens fans every summer being like, we won the off season. This is the year we're better. It's like, no, fuck you. You're not better. No one gives a shit about your off season and signing Claude Giroux. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Like, I've had enough of you winning the offseason and blowing up my DMs about what you've done on July 1st. I don't care. And then they just miss the playoffs, but they win our game in regulation. And it's like, oh, look at us. Oh, you had to cross-check our guy because we took a slap shot on the empty net. It's like, okay, make the playoffs. Now they've made the playoffs, and I've talked endless shit. Like, just unbelievable amounts of shit about this team. If the Leafs lose after clinching first in the Atlantic, I'm going to have to climb so far in a hole and disappear till the end of the summer. You don't even understand. You won't even be able to reach me with any cell service or anything. I'll be so far away. Like,
Aaron Rodgers darkness retreat.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing ayahuasca in a fucking hut somewhere. Like, that's what I'm going to be doing to recover. So, look, the Sens are a good team, and they do have pieces to make this a tough battle. Like, this is not an easy out, but I think that the Leafs are the best constructed team we've seen in the Matthews era. You know, you don't have the Justin Hall, Martin Marinson excuse on defense anymore. You don't have Ilya Samsonov excuse on the back end, or Freddie Anderson, you know, the weak goal in a OT or a third period with 5 minutes left to tie a game and send it to OT. You don't have that. You're getting the goaltending. You've changed the way the team is constructed with, it's not just skill anymore. That's one thing I always looked at when it was like, Kyle Dubas built teams with like Alex Kerfoot and Nick Petan and Pierre Engvall in your bottom six. Like, that's great. What happens when it gets tough? Maybe the guys you have now aren't the biggest goal scorers ever, Lawton, Lorentz, Holmberg, Kampf, etc. But when the going gets tough, like, they're not going to disappear in the game. You're poised here to at least win a round, guys. Like, you should win a round here against the Sens, but it is the Leafs. It is Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander. It's the big boys still, so that always is going to give me some concern. Not going to lie.
And I feel like the way you're talking, you sound like me, where I feel better as a slight underdog than a massive favorite. Like, the fact that this is the best Leafs team we've seen in a while, the fact that they've got, you know, the coach that's supposed to be the playoff guy, and you've got a team that you are on paper notably better than, but it's a rival in province. Like, yeah, there's no downside for Ottawa. They can get swept and they can still say this is a good season. Like, they'll be pissed off for a couple days, but like, there's no downside. You have all downside, and if you win, it's like, good, we did what we were expected to.
You were supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Look, it's fun watching Sens fans squirm right now. I don't know if you guys are seeing it at all the same way like we are. Like, I'm entrenched in this to the point where my buddies are just telling me, get off the internet. I don't even know how you're seeing this now. I'm getting in my timeline, just random Sens fans popping up, like complaining about ticket prices in Ottawa. And there's part of me that just wants to be dunking on them. They're like, oh, we got like $300 tickets to sit in the upper bowl. And like $300 tickets barely gets you in the arena in Toronto. your tickets are getting bought up. They're complaining about Leafs fans are trying to come to Ottawa, keep the Leafs fans out. Like, I'm enjoying all of this. If the Leafs lose game 1, there's a non-zero chance there's riots in the street. So my confidence level is high, and it can go from this to this in like 60 minutes on Sunday.
I'm sure. And I mean, if we go Jeff Merrick route and you get to pick your opponent, no way that the Leafs pick Ottawa, right?
No. I think, honestly, if they were to do this like the non-coward way and just pick the ranked team, like you're actually picking, you probably end up picking like New Jersey is the first out of the East. Let's say you have to stick to the Atlantic. I honestly don't even know that you pick Montreal. I think they might pick Tampa, which sounds psychotic, but you've beat them before. You were 4-0 against them this year. And I think in all 4 games, they put up 4 or more on Vasilevsky. And I think in 2 of them, they chased them. So that's probably the one that you want. I want nothing to do with Florida. Like, I want them gone in round 1. I want nothing. I don't even want to sniff them. Washington, I think you could take. Carolina, it's going to be tough. You know, there's other ones where you could probably flip a coin. But if you pick, it's probably... It is probably New Jersey 1, and then I think Tampa 2, just because of how you've done against them.
See, I weirdly, for round 1, I'll take Florida. I don't want Florida round 2 if they get to round 2, if that makes sense.
Right. Well,
like,
yeah.
They're kind of limping in. Like, they don't look like true Florida right now.
Yeah. I mean, I just wonder, like, in that series against Tampa, I feel like coming out the other end, whoever does is going to be banged up. You guys tell me what you think about this. I feel like if Florida comes out, they're worse off physically than if Tampa comes out of that series. Like, I think Florida goes through that and takes a beating and might come out the other end like, holy shit, how did we get here? Like, just battered and bruised. Tampa's going to be like banged up, but I just feel like they're the ones who could get out the other side cleaner if they do. Maybe I only think that because Florida is going in with some of the stuff that we know about Tkachuk, and Marchand had the injuries there. Seemed like Bennett was dealing with something for some point. Ekblad obviously is probably going to come back healthier than ever from this.
Never been healthier. He's never been healthier, dude. He is.
But like, I just look and think that. I don't know.
What do you think, Steve?
No, I agree, because I think Florida, again, like you said, they're already limping in. Plus, just even if they were healthy again, they've been like sorting around their lines, trying to figure out where exactly they want Marchand to land. And I mean, like, it'll be interesting to see what he looks like in the playoffs with them. But just given the amount of games lost from so many of their top guys, like, I do think like they're kind of limping in right now. And I mean, down the stretch, I think they had like 2 wins against playoff teams. Like, they were really just like surviving. And I mean, I just have a funny feeling Tampa's about to go on a run. I was down on them coming into the year, and they, like, within 10 minutes of their first game, I was like, I'll shut the fuck up now.
And their deadline. Oh my God, did I love their deadline.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, it's sickening. I really don't enjoy it. But it is what it is. Yeah, no, I'm pretty confident in Tampa Bay coming out stronger on the other side of this, but I'm very fascinated to see ultra rat Brad Marchand in the Battle of Florida on the Florida Panthers. Like, he might be a fucking psychopath, and I am so excited for that. He's gonna be talking merciless shit, because like Maurice was like, everyone sucks at it. Thank God we have Marshy. He talks insane shit on the ice 24/7 in practice too. Like, he's crazy. So I'm excited about that. But
didn't he get voted as best and worst shit talker
every time? Yeah, every year he's best and worst by the player. Like, I don't even fucking know anymore. But
that was he though.
I need an X factor though. Leafs. I'll go Matty Nyes, I think, might rip apart this playoff series. Like, he has been so goddamn good this year. And I have watched his fight against Zach Whitecloud probably 400 times. He beat the living Christ out of him. But I love Matthew Nyes. I think he might pop all the way off in this playoffs.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him too. I mean, that's why Merrick's driving me nuts every time he tells me somebody's going to offer sheet him. He's going to Pittsburgh,
you mean like Kyle Dubas?
yeah, that guy. I agree with you. I mean, I don't have any other different person. I would love to, but it's Matthew Nyes.
Well, what about the other side though? Like, you guys are talking about Marchand being a psycho. Like, we haven't even discussed Brady Tkachuk yet.
I know. And, it is obviously a problem, but if I'm the Leafs, like, there's a part of me that is just saying, stay away from it.
Let him sleep.
Yeah. It's not even like let him run wild or anything like that. It's like, just don't wake him. Do not wake him. Like, he's gonna be Brady Tkachuk and he's gonna be PK, like he's gonna be going nuts out there, and that's all fine. Like, I expect that, and I'm excited to see playoff Brady Tkachuk, even just as a hockey fan. But it's like, if you're the Leafs, just don't wake the guy. Like, don't get in his way to do that. Don't poke and prod. Avoid that stuff. Piss off the other guys, Ridley Gregg and Dylan Cousins, and go after them. Sure, whoever else you want to, but like, stay out of the shit with Brady Tkachuk because he's only going to feed off of it. And then the other thing I would say is, like, I mean, I'm sure they're having this conversation. I'd hope so. But like, if you're seeing him going nuts and building to that, that's really when you don't engage, because you can get away with a lot of stuff in the playoffs, but for the most part, it's only when it's going back and forth, right? Like, yeah, the refs allow more to happen, but if it's a back and forth exchange, both guys are involved, they're going at it, there's a battle. Yeah, that's when it's like, hey, let them play. If Brady Tkachuk is just going nuts and the Leafs are kind of like, hey, dude, go nuts, they could allow it to get into like, okay, now you're crossing the line situation where the refs are just going to have to do something. Like, I was listening to Mike Rupp. That the reason I say this is I was listening to Mike Rupp talk about it, and he said there were so many times where like the leaders of the team or the captains of the team knew a guy like that was on the other side. And rather than being like, we have to have someone to handle this, it was more so just working the official. Hey, like, we're not going to be involved in that tonight. It was Rupp saying this. He was saying, like, you just tell the official, like, hey, we're not going to be involved in that tonight. Like, we just want to play the game, blah, blah, blah. And then the official's aware. Like, they're obviously going to know, but you've set that base. You set the precedent out there. And then now all of a sudden, Brady Tkachuk goes nuts and, like, stick somebody in or like sucker punches someone in the face. That's really not that over the line, but the ref might be like, that's it. We'll give you the one. Then you take advantage.
I agree, though.
That said, it's a problem.
Here's my question then. What's worse? If Brady Tkachuk goes up to the opening draw game 1 and wants to go, is it worse if you like engage and he wins and gets everyone fired up, or if you run away?
I don't think that. Well, so like, this is what I was about to say. It's somewhat similar last year. I felt like the first 2 games, Leafs Bruins, like the Leafs were just trying to prove that they had a bunch of big guys that could hit. I mean, the first fucking goal that John Beecher scored, like both Edmondson and Reeves like hit Maroon at the same time. And like John Beecher scored the first shot on net for the Bruins, and like Domi before the whistle was like slashing Marchand in the hands, and Marchand was like, okay. And it felt like they were just trying to do that too often. Where it's just like, I think if they just played hockey that first fucking game, they probably would have beat the Bruins in 5 or 6. Like, they were so fucking like dialed in on trying to be like, no, we are physical, we are tough now. Like, we went out, we signed the big boys, and it was just like, okay, like, this is the playoffs, like everyone does this, but okay, sure. But like, I think if they just stick to their game, like, they can't like really get wrapped up in like the physicality as far as like going and like challenging guys or like answering the bell or whatever. Like, whatever they're gonna do, you have to expect that there's gonna be a ramp up in physicality. But I think the Leafs are built differently, like especially just given the fact that you've got guys like Chris Tanev, Brandon Carlo, and Stolarz, who's been fucking unbelievable. I think that's just like a different look from the back end too. But like top to bottom, they're built really well. They've got guys that can do a little bit of everything out throughout the lineup. So
I agree 100%. I think that's actually probably the best way to put it in terms of like how you deal with it. This is the year, as I kind of mentioned about the construction as well, too. Like, you're the best constructed to handle it. You don't need to prove anything. Like, the one thing too with it is we brought up Matthew Knies. Like, that's a problem for Ottawa that could effectively do a very similar thing to Brady Tkachuk. You know, Biz brought it up on the broadcast. Players in the NHL with 25 goals and 150 hits this year. 3 of them. It's Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Knies, and Tom Wilson. You know, and each one of them is a different player and does different things. But as you mentioned there, like the fight with White Cloud, all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, this guy can throw bombs and he's throwing lefty, which I had no idea about, by the way.
I don't think White Cloud did either. Yeah, I had no idea. He's like, holy shit.
I was talking about that in the post-game show. I'm like, White Cloud probably talked to him, right? Like they knew that fight was happening. Nye said he wanted it. White Cloud says, yep, I'll oblige. It's like, okay, this is a big, tough kid. Like I've seen him hit guys or whatever. Like I've dealt with this. That's fine. Nice goes to fight him and goes like this, and White Cloud's probably just like, "Oh shit! Like,
No,
what did I get into?
I've made a mistake."
that first left was so square, dude. Right in the butt. I was like, oh my
lined
god.
Up. He just had the squarest, like he just had the most proper fight stance, and went lefty, and I was like, oh. And just started chucking him like, oh my god, that was.
I was at the bar watching it on my phone. I was like, oh my god.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Hey, that guy's an X factor, man. I told somebody yesterday. They were asking me about like, oh, who to look for Conn Smythe. I'm like, Mitch Marner was like 50 from the Leafs specifically. That is, it was like Mitch Marner was like 50-1. Stolarz, who I bet was 80-1. Matthew Knies is 500-1. There is a far greater chance than 500-1. At least I know it was last night. Then he gets the Conn Smythe. He's on the first line. He's on the first power play. If they have success, guess who's making a difference? Matthew Knies.
Wow.
He might not have as many points as the others, but
what are the odds for Willie Stees?
I think he was around what Marner was, but
okay.
I think it was priced a little lower. Like I think he might have been like 40-1 or something like that yesterday, which probably just makes sense given like the path to getting there, who you have to go through, the other teams that could possibly be there, and then Marner should Nylander should perform here. Like everybody's kind of grown to expect that now in the playoffs. He's been the one guy
Finally
who's like stepping up. Is like it's William Nylander. It's the other guys who got to get going. So I wouldn't be surprised that Nylander would be like the leading candidate to win the Conn Smythe from the Leafs going into this playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And you are welcome to stay on as long as you want, but I know the Leafs game is back on. So for sure,
yeah,
let's get predictions for Leafs Sens and for Panthers Lightning all around for the 3 of us. And then, hey, if you want to hang out, we'd love you, but take off if you need to, man.
I'll probably go after this, but I'm happy to come back anytime. You guys just send me a note, send me a link if you want to have me. I'm more than happy to come back on. This has been fun, but I'm going to have to go and talk about after this game that nobody wants to talk about. Fleet Myers is literally going inside out on people, scoring 5 goals. So I think I got it up in front of me. This is like, what are we doing? Anyways, predictions. What do you guys want to go like one series at a time? What do you want to do here?
Sure, let's go series predictions. We'll start Florida first.
Okay. I'm gonna go Tampa in 7. It's kind of a coward way out to say like 7 games between those guys, but Tampa in 7.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of 7 picks across these for everybody. I'm gonna go Tampa in 6, but I mean, I just don't know what to expect from Florida. But I was pretty down on Tampa coming into the year, and beyond wrong. Deadline went as well as it could. Vasilevsky's firing on all cylinders. I think they got the horses to go pretty far. I'm taking them in 6 over Florida.
Yeah, brain says Tampa I want to be different, but I'm not going to say 5 because that's legitimately insane. So I do think it'll be 6. My heart needs Sorry, I need them to go to the conference finals. So the Bruins get a first-round pick in fucking 6 years. Dumbest condition ever. Fucking Marsh has to play 50%. I don't think. By the way, I don't think Sweeney knew that he agreed to those conditions because he told the media that he had to play in half their playoff games, and then it's like he has to play in half of them, and they have to win 2 rounds. I wonder if Don Sweeney didn't know that. I don't know if he knew that. Well, he didn't because he didn't say it. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Oh my god, it's a shit show here. It's a shit show, dude. It's unbelievable. It's fucking god, it's sickening, but it's also kind of fun.
All right, so Z, lead off then for Ontario.
Not, so,
well, Battle Ontario. I'll say Leafs in 7 and pray my buddies, the sickos, don't see this. But specifically, I think Matty Nyes averages 1.5 per game points. Like, I think he is about to like just take off.
That would make me so happy. I don't know. Did you pay much attention to Nyes when he was in college?
Yeah, it was
not you. I know you did.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Sorry,
yeah.
Zach, did you pay much attention to Nyes before he joined the Leafs?
I did, but it was like not very closely. I just was keeping an eye, but it was because that was like at the time that I had started doing my own Leafs channel. Sure. So at that point, he had just been drafted out of the USHL. So I was like, oh, here's the Leafs 2nd round pick. And this kid, and then all of a sudden, as I was like following the team into the next year, it was like, oh, this guy's like actually pretty good. Like, what the fuck? Who was this kid? And then started following it. So I was like every now and then tracking. I would be lying if I told you I was following it closely. I
don't even mean that. Like, I'm just like, I care more about the Gophers than I care about any pro team. And
right,
dude, some of the things he was doing with the Gophers were insane. But then their trip to the Frozen Four, where they should have won the Natty. Z, you remember his little interview session with Logan Cooley?
I watch it once a month.
It's unhinged.
It's so good.
The question that he asked, what level of sunscreen do you wear? And Cooley replies, SPF. And Nyes loses his fucking mind. He's like, what?
The best.
That's good.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna that. Now he's my favorite. So
I'm gonna break it to you here a little bit. Sorry, but I followed him the most in his last year, and the reason was not just because of the Leafs. My sisters, both of them, went to Quinnipiac. So I was following through with the hockey team, who was really good. I got to go out there and watch a couple of games, and then it was like, oh, they've got a shot. And then, like, I watched that final game against Minnesota, and I was on the other end cheering for Quinnipiac. So I'm sorry.
I don't blame anyone that's not a Minnesota fan for cheering for like the clear underdog in the scenario, but God, that sucked. I could talk about that for an hour, and I won't. But
the fact that they weren't on the ice and didn't touch the ice in OT like that.
Well, honestly, though, like, I had my dad, my brother-in-law there with me. We were in Tampa for the Frozen Four, and they aren't big hockey guys. Like, they like it, but like, they're not like deep into it. But they both looked at me. They're like, holy shit, Gophers are up 2-0, but they're going to lose this game, aren't they? I'm like, I think so. Like, they went into hard shell, pure prevent defense, and it was going down so fast. But I know you got to go, so we'll move past this. We will talk plenty of things in the future. You're welcome back on anytime. I'm going to say Leafs in 6, but I need there to be a game 7. I don't care who wins. I just need
to drink the anxiety
on the internet.
No, boys.
Game 7. It needs to happen.
Before Zach goes, I need to. I'm not trying to be mean. Last year, I tuned into probably every single Leafs post game live stream. I left the bar one night because it was the anger was unbelievable after every the game 5. Oh my god. Anyways, I will be doing that again. But now that we've met, I won't feel as good about it though.
No, it's okay. I understand it. Like I completely get it. I don't blame people. I get people who come to my chat and like troll me and they're like, "You fucking loser Leafs fans." I'm like, I don't even blame. Like, it is what it is. It's
So what's your pick?
No game sevens.
Leafs in 3.
Yeah, Leafs in 3. No, look, I want so badly for there to be a sweep and to just drop my nuts on the forehead of the city of Ottawa and tell them you didn't even get a win in the playoffs, but they're going to get one. That's it. Leafs in 5. The Leafs are winning this thing in 5. I think that they win both at home, put some panic on those guys, and then probably you sends one of the two back home there. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on which one they win, but the Leafs are packing that barn. They're going to make life uncomfortable for the Sens at home. I need it. I need it so badly. Leafs in 5. Just steamroll that team. You're the better team. It's finally time for you to show up in a series and just say, we're the better team. We're handling business. Like, we are the better team. We're getting in. We're getting out. We're moving on to the second round. Let's Leafs in 5.
There we go. Well, hey, really appreciate you jumping on, man. Awesome having you. Good luck. Keep doing the great work that you're doing with the post-game stuff, everything you do with Jeff. Like, I'll tell you, the only reason that I even came across you and we started kind of bantering on Twitter is like, I'm a Jeff Merrick disciple. Like, I just think he is entertaining as hell. Now, I got to say, I defend him even when I'm like, no, he's totally wrong. Really tough look recently with the 99 problems, but a shot ain't one.
No, that's the worst.
How did you not sign off from that one?
That was one of the worst things I heard. Like, I actually stared at him. He's like, do you not get it? And I'm like, no, I get it. Like, just that's
I could hear the cringe through my earbud. I wasn't watching. I was listening. And it was like, oh my God, like Zach is disgusted.
I just stared at him and he's like, do you not get it? Like, no, I got it. Like,
Jeff, do you get
shut it down? I might end the show on that. Like, get off the air now. Yeah, that was the tough one. But I appreciate the support. Thank you. And thank you guys for having me. I'm going to watch this Leafs game, 7 minutes left, and see if they could tie this thing. I don't even care. Just get out healthy. But
yeah,
last one of the season. Last one till Sunday. I appreciate it, boys. Thank you guys for having me. Good
luck, man. Everyone check out Zach's post-game stream tonight, but especially throughout the first round. We know Z's going to be tuning in. It's going to be a fun time. But appreciate it, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See ya.
Oh, man. All right.
Sens in 7, by the way.
You're a dick. Yep, there's the fingers coming up on the side. God damn it, Z.
I couldn't help it.
All right, well, that was fun. He's good shit. He definitely needs to come back on. But all right, there we go. We got through 2 series, and we've got a lot to go here. So we're just going to keep cranking through. Let's stick in the East, Z. Do you want to start with Washington or Carolina?
Let's start with Washington. I'm going to end up picking Washington, but there is just something going on in Montreal. That building is, oh my God. The last few games, especially with the arrival of Demidov, which is sickening to me. The first 2 points that he's like, I was crying. I was basically crying. Just knowing that I'm gonna have to deal with that for the next 20 years. How
about all the Chicago fans coming out of the woodwork? Like, we knew they shouldn't have taken the Shinov. It's like, no, you didn't. Stop it.
But I think Montreal is going to make this a real series. Washington is just like the fact that they at no point slowed down this year. It's just incredibly impressive. Again, I was high on them coming in. This is not what I was expecting. Just really well built top to bottom. Like, they're getting the goaltending. They're defensively solid. They score a ton of goals. Like, guys like Tom Wilson, I think he would end up with 30 this year. But I do think at the end of the day, they do overpower them. But the vibes right now in Montreal are through the roof. You've got fucking Lane Hudson doing his thing. The arrival of Demidov has been unbelievable. Slavkovsky's actually just such a good support player and putting up some big points in big games. Suzuki's having a ridiculous year. I do think they make it an interesting series, and it's going to be like that barn again. It's going to be absolutely rocking. So it's not going to be an easy place to go play, especially in the playoffs. But I think Washington ends up pulling it out probably. I'm going to say 7. I'm just going to say 7 because I do think if they get to a game 6, that building's going to be so crazy that Montreal might like really smoke them in a game 6 if they get there. There's a big part of me that did want to not really want to because I fucking hate them, obviously. But like, I
Montreal
was like,
7.
You're going to do it? Yeah. I don't blame you.
Honestly, I think if it happens, it's actually, I'm going Montreal in 6. Because I do think if it goes to a game 7 in Washington, like they're going to find a way to rally. Like that gives them enough time to correct. My biggest thing is like hand up. So wrong. The most wrong I've ever been preseason on a team. I thought the Washington Capitals would be super mid or bad. They proved me so wrong. I thought Ovi was dead. I thought that the players they brought in was literally just like square peg, round hole. They were awesome. They did so good this year. I think they are a great team. It gives me the vibes, and I was saying this to Isha earlier when we were getting beers. It gives me the vibes of the Leafs when Matthews was chasing 70, and all anyone cared about was feed Matthews. We got to get him there. Let's do it. And then they get in the playoffs, and like their whole identity is gone because their whole identity was feed Matthews. Mm-hmm. And it's not quite to that extent here. Like Capitals are playing solid hockey, but since Ovi caught the record, like they have not looked the same. They're not on top of their game. Now, can they correct it? Sure. Is Montreal an ideal matchup compared to the other teams? Like, sure. We got the 2010 Juju. Montreal looks good, and it scares me because I actually really like both goalies for Washington. But you know the old adage, if you have 2 goalies, do you even have one? You can get into that weird game. Like the Wild have done it. The Bruins have done it. We've seen it so many times. Like when you second guess yourself and you keep switching back and forth with goalies, that can fuck with the team. And I think Montreal's vibing enough. And again, it's the same idea with the Senators where like they got nothing to lose. They can get swept and they're like, whatever, this is still a positive year. I really think that Montreal is going to come in and do something. Now, game 1's going to tell me everything. If Washington's back and they just look like they did before, I'll eat my words and I'm totally wrong here. Otherwise, I think Montreal in 6. It's going to be a weird series. I don't even like know what to expect, but maybe baby Ovi comes onto the scene here and Ivan Demidov. But I'm not like super confident in this pick, but that's just like the vibes I'm feeling with where both teams are playing right now.
The one recommendation I have for Ivan Demidov is do not do what Andrei Svechnikov did in his first playoffs against the Capitals and fight Alexander Ovechkin.
I don't think a Russian's going to fight Ovi. If anything, stay away from Wilson and stay away from Leonard.
Svechnikov did.
Actually, dude, a Leonard Demidov fight would be awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, part of me was really leaning Montreal. I just think, again, in a 7-game series, I think Washington squeaks it out. Or not squeaks it out.
That's why I said Montreal in 6. Like, I don't think 7 could be Montreal, you know?
Yeah.
But yes. So
actually, and game 2 will tell me more than game 1, to be honest, because like I've seen so many series where it's like game 1's just like one team's like been resting a bunch of guys, one team like or hasn't played in a while, whatever. And like every game for Montreal the past couple, like, well, really like for a while now has been like a playoff game for them. Like it's the same thing like when Florida came in a couple years ago and upset the Bruins in that first round when the Bruins set every fucking NHL record for wins, points, whatever. Florida came to that series with like months of having every single game be a playoff game. So Washington's obviously been locked in for a while. So game 1 might be like back and forth, and who knows, maybe Montreal just keeps riding the wave, riding the vibe. So who knows that? So game 2 is going to probably tell me more than anything. I love that. I didn't even notice until just now that the playoff logo, we had to X out right the 5.
Well, it's great too, because like, and no shots here because like we've been like totally off the grid for a couple weeks now, and I like told Mateo like maybe yesterday maybe the day before that. I don't know. I'm like, oh, we are going to go Thursday, just so you know. And he's like, okay, well, I'll get a couple overlays put together, whatever. And I'm pretty sure the only one he did was this. It's like, I got you covered for the playoffs. I thought it would be like something like, hey, here's Leafs against whoever, or even like regions of the bracket, but no. Stanley Cup playoffs, 2024, crossed out, put a 5 on it. I love it.
So funny.
Honestly, he gets the vibes of this show better than I do.
Yeah,
that's so fitting. It's so perfect.
It's phenomenal.
And I almost had to interrupt Zach too when he's like, I just love all the chaos. I'm like, do you see like our fucking nonsense layout here? Chaos. That's all it is.
What it is, baby.
But yes, Mateo, brilliant artwork. I love it. I support it. Other series, I wish they were at full strength because this could be an awesome series, but I don't have much to say. I believe in the Hurricanes. I think they're better than anyone else has given them credit. I think everything around the whole Rantanen trade scenario, like they're a better team than they were long-term, and current term, they're not worse. I think it was way overstated in the offseason, like, oh, Carolina's going to suck. It's like, they got a little worse, but like, come on, let's be real. I love their path. We'll get to it later, but I have them making it to the final. So is what it is. But yeah, I got Carolina. Man, I'm going to say 5. But I'll let you go into whatever you want to talk about before giving your prediction. But I just don't have much to say. Devils are down bad. Injuries are unfortunate. I like the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Canes, obviously. I think I'm going to take them in 6. I mean, like, it is just brutal, the Devils' injury situation, because that really just, like, completely, like, spoiled the series for me. Like, I'm not even really that fired up to watch it. The thing is, Carolina is just, since getting Rantanen, has been a very average hockey team, and then obviously everything happened with him leaving. I mean, down the stretch, they've been like a borderline, like just over 500 team. I want to say the last like 10, 15 games, something like that. Not playing very inspiring hockey. At the same time, I think at this point, with how crazy the season's been, specifically with the Rantanen thing, to be honest, I guess that really is like the one major outlier thing. But for them, I think it's a brand new season now, obviously, just like any team, but like specifically for them. So I do think they get it done. I'll say 6. I'll give the Devils 2 wins, and I don't want to take the exact same route as you, but like Devils are in one here, big time.
If they're healthy, like they're a team that people are scared of.
Mm-hmm. They need some like big time performances from a guy like Dawson Mercer specifically.
But Mercer is the only guy that you can pick, right? Like everyone else is actually playing good that you need to lean on. It's just not enough.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I think next year the Devils are a team that like could almost be a fun pick, like preseason futures, because everyone's going to forget about them with how this goes. All right, we can move past that then. We are through the East. That was actually quicker than I thought it would be. Moving to the West. I'll let you pick where we want to start, but we got to end with the Wild. So actually, no, we're starting with Central Division path. Which series do you want first, Winnipeg or Colorado? And yes, I picked to the low seed Colorado because I think they're the favorite.
You tell me so we're starting there?
We'll start there. And I think I wish, again, that both teams are fully healthy. And I would feel the same way regardless of health, probably. But, man, vibes have changed over the past month. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone was like, Dallas is winning the cup. This is Colorado series for me. Like, I'm pretty confident that you agree with this entirely, but I'm just going to say it from my perspective. Horrible value on their trade deadline process if you look long term. But guess what? If they win the cup this year, they give 0 fucks, and their team got notedly better with their trade deadline acquisitions. I love a lot of things about this roster, especially the center depth now, but you've got the blue line they've got that I've always been high on. goaltending has played well enough, which how crazy is it that they literally brought in 2 new goalies mid-season and it's working out? Like that does not happen.
Yeah.
And then you might have Landeskog playing at some point in the first round. This team has all of the vibes to go deep. Like they're a scary team that no one wants to play. I do not like Dallas, but they have so many players that I love that it's like a weird conflict for me. Where I don't cheer for the team, but there's so many players. I'm like, yeah, good for you. Oh, fuck Dallas. Like, they still could absolutely win this series because they have enough difference makers that, like, you never know what they're going to pull. But I'm a Heiskanen truther. Like, he is a top 3 defenseman in the NHL. He is going to be sorely missed. Sorely missed. Robertson might be out now. Their blue line is awful. And I know he's a good goalie. I get very nervous about our good Lakeville, Minnesota native, the Otter. I don't know if I trust him to hold up against the siege that he's going to get from Colorado. And that's not saying like he's the better goalie in the series, but like it doesn't matter. Colorado is going to be coming hard. It's going to take their forwards carrying the load hard for Dallas to make this a series and potentially win it. I'll save my prediction for now. What are your thoughts on this series? Like, am I out to lunch or do you agree or somewhere in the middle?
No, I'm pretty much on the same page. Like you said, long term, the big questions about like the Avs deadline in general, but like also long term, Marty Necas has fit like a fucking glove and he's continuing to just rip it up there. He looks unbelievable.
I thought he'd be a good fit. I never.
It's also crazy that we're getting this matchup in the first round now. The fact that Rantanen has made his way to Dallas and they're going to be playing in that first round. Curious to see the reception or like what that crowd looks like with him on the ice. But I mean, I guess
I'm ready for Nate Dogg to kill him.
But yeah, just the fact that like Robertson looks like he's not healthy. You're missing Heiskanen. That back end for Dallas just scares me in the bad way, scares me. Just as far as like the firepower that's coming from Colorado up and down that lineup. I'm definitely taking the Avs. If Dallas is able to get it done, it means that A, more than anything, we're getting prime Jake Ottinger. And B, honestly, like Mikko Rantanen, Dallas star Mikko Rantanen finally arrives. And like we're like waiting for him to just like take off. And it's like the Stars fans have been like, like this might be a big problem right now because he just hasn't really figured it out there. Grantland's been
problem this year, not next year.
But if Rantanen just has that like fuck you attitude coming in and just like lights it up, that's going to be for me like big factor for them if they were able to pull this off. But just given the way the Colorado plays, how explosive they are offensively,
Fire Voracek nailed it.
And they're going, yeah, I mean exactly. Like they're
starting
going up
against
a battered blue line in Dallas that already had major issues outside of Heiskanen. I'm going Colorado in 6. I do think Dallas, by the way, like that is another fucking like in the playoffs, that arena is nuts. It looks fucking huge. Like it looks just like massive. Like when they like zoom out and like play the whole crowd, it's fucking crazy there in the playoffs. So I think they eke out too, but I mean Colorado right now is scary.
Well, you're putting me in a spot here because I don't want to say the same thing as you. So balls on the table. Colorado in 5.
Dallas in 5.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Colorado in 5. Again, beginning of the season, I never imagined those words would come out of my mouth in any matchup, let alone this one. But Colorado has all the horses going for them right now. And like, this is one that like, I'm very prepared to be wrong. Like even Dallas winning the series wrong. Like the 5-1 is not me saying, oh, they're just that much better. It's more, that's the way I see the series playing out. Like we've seen 5-game series, they're super tight. We've seen 7-game series that like you trade winning by 3. I think this is going to be like high flying, high scoring, but like close competitive games. I don't see it being a ton of blowouts. I just see Colorado being the one that comes out on the right side of it 4 times and the wrong side once.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I view this. So it's not to shit on Dallas. I still think they're an incredible team. Like if the Wild are playing them, we would get absolutely bludgeoned. But yeah, Colorado in 5, Colorado in 6 for you. So let's talk Winnipeg St. Louis, which I think isn't being talked about enough as one of the most intriguing matchups that we have here in this postseason. Our boy Swerve 95. I hope the President's Trophy curse stands true. Let's just remove that. Like, this is a weird series for a lot of reasons. No?
Mm-hmm. No,
like, first off, another hot take that we addressed on Fellowship. I took it from Barstool Chief. I hate the Blackhawks, but he's usually pretty like unbiased and has decent takes most times. Someone was like basically defending the Blues, saying like, how can you think that they're dog shit, whatever. And he quote tweeted it because they mentioned the Jobu thing, which I'm sure you've seen. He says, actually, I'm just going to pull it up because it just warrants it at this point, I think, for me to give it proper justice reading it verbatim. So Barstool Chief's quote tweet says, if you're not terrified of the Blues having Jobu on their side, then you don't know anything about anything. They're a vibes org. This is like Gloria or that fucking rat YP had, which I don't know if you recall. Young Page Views had his chinchilla that he literally snuck into a hockey game. Crazy. And that's not even including, of course, Layla, who was like the greatest support person there. I think she's the one that propelled them through. It was either her or Brett Hull being absolutely annihilated every second of it, which rocks. I love that was a thing at all. Blues start the season like shit. Fire their coach. Make a couple of personnel changes. And weird, they've got the Jobu thing going. Like, you've got Jordan Bennington vibing hard. This team is going the right direction. Winnipeg, there's no reason to be worried about them except history. They do not perform in the first round, ever. It's never happened. Has Hellebuck been overrun? Do we have a healthy Ehlers? Like, there's little question marks like that, but it's less concerns with them. But those concerns also get added in and compounded with the Blues are fucking scary. I think Winnipeg would rather play Minnesota. True or false?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, St. Louis is just coming in with endless vibes. And I mean, like, when Montgomery went there, you knew they were going to get a bump because one thing about Jim Montgomery is he is really good at getting every ounce from a decent hockey team. And like, he knows how to make teams better than what they are. Like, I mean, even the last
look
couple
at the Bruins
years,
after he
the
left.
Bruins being so good, like that roster has like the roster, even the year that they set all those records, like there was some serious flaws in there too. And he's just able to like get every ounce from every guy in the lineup. I did not expect them to do it this well though. Like the fact that they went on like a, what was it, 11, 12 game win streak. You know, the last couple have been, I mean, whatever, they lost 2 of the last 4 or whatever, who cares? But yeah, I mean, I think this is still a different Winnipeg Jets team than in years past. Like, not only are their top dogs scoring offensively, like just at a ridiculous clip, their team defense overall has just been incredible. And I mean, at this point, it feels like every other year we get one version of Connor Hellebuck. And if we want to go by history, this is the year that Connor Hellebuck's great in playoffs, just because last year was so bad. But yeah, I'm gonna end up taking Winnipeg, but this is gonna be a 7-game series. It's gonna be physical. It's gonna be probably not super not the most entertaining series as far as like high power offense, whatever. I think like it's gonna be super physical. but I do think that Winnipeg ends up getting it done in 7. I think Hellebuck's going to have a really, really good series. But yeah, no, I just think top to bottom, like they're so deep, and like even like the depth forwards that Winnipeg has, like I was going through because they just re-signed Iafallo. I was looking at his defensive metrics. Yeah, the Pionk contract, which is like half crazy when you just
he
consider
could
the player
buy
role.
Duluth.
Yeah. But like it's kind of like with where the cap's going, the role that he plays, it's kind of like the going rate for like a 3-4 anyway. I don't know. I think it was too much for me. Whatever. He's really good there for them. Like I think that contract looks fucking horrific anywhere else, but like it works there. I don't know.
It's
Him and Sandberg have been really good.
It's Winnipeg. If a guy wants to stay that can play, you make it work.
He's like,
that's not a shot.
He took 7?
That's what they're working with.
He didn't want 17? Absolutely.
Here's my question, dude. Does this mean that my Lord and Savior Nicholas Ehlers Christ might be available?
Yes, I'm just gonna say yes because we need it. We need it to happen for one of us or both of us.
Oh my god! If he ends up in Pittsburgh or Minnesota, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but either way, I'm taking Winnipeg. I'm taking them in 7, and I think it's gonna be entertaining from like a fucking just fun to watch. Is not for like the hockey, but just for like the physicality and like how crazy it could get. Who knows? Like, let's say Winnipeg puts in 4 in the first period. Binnington might go fucking nuts. He might do something crazy. Game 1, make a statement, be a huge asshole.
He might fight Fleury.
He's gonna just leave. Goes to Vegas to fight Fleury off.
So I think this is very much the same vibes for me as Washington, Montreal, where 2 games in, I don't even care. Like, let's say St. Louis wins both games, but like Winnipeg looks good. I'll completely flip the narrative and be like, Winnipeg's going to do it. But the way I feel right now, St. Louis in 6.
All right.
And I am very prepared after game 2 to be like, totally wrong, my bad. But going in, I have no reason to trust the Winnipeg Jets. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I love the team on paper. I like a lot about what they have going on in general. There's just like too much bad juju around all of this. President's Cup, their history. Again, Hellebuck carried the load. He's going to win the Vezina. He could win the Hart. It just feels like all going to come crumbling down against this hot team that's coming in and people aren't going to give proper credit to. So Blues in 6, again, I don't feel great about it, but that's Hart. Head would be Winnipeg in 7, Hart, Blues in 6, and I'm going with the Hart.
Fair enough, dude. I don't think it's crazy.
All right, we got 1 quadrant left. Let's talk the nonsense. We already got into it a little bit, but I genuinely, like, there's so many angles and things you can pick apart in this Gretzky Bowl. LA versus Edmonton. Like, so confirm for me. Ekholm is out. He is likely not playing at all this series.
I haven't seen the actual confirmation, but it sounded like that was more likely than him.
Okay, then I'll just say it right now. That makes the decision for me. It's going to be LA. If there was a healthy or mostly healthy Ekholm, I'd probably be taking Edmonton. I think he is that much of a difference maker. Now, the challenge is this Edmonton team just went to the Stanley Cup final, barely lost in the end. You still have 2 of the best players on the planet. You still have depth at forward. You still have okay blue line. It's definitely not great. And the Kings have played great. I still don't love them on paper. I do not trust their goalie. I do not trust their blue line. Their forward depth is great. But, like, there's a lot of reasons to be nervous on both sides. And it's a really weird series where I think either team losing, it's going to be hard for them to live it down. You know? Like, usually it's like, oh, if this team loses, they'll never be able to get over it. But the other one, like whatever, they're playing with house money. The amount of times that the Kings have played the Oilers, they cannot afford to lose. Like you can't let that narrative continue, especially with how solid you've played this season and you got the home seed. But Edmonton, with how things went, you're going in the final year for McDavid. Like, you cannot go out in the first round. This is, for me, this series and Colorado Dallas are the, I'd say the Florida matchup too. Like those 3 series, whoever loses, it is going to fucking hurt bad. But if you're telling me there's likely no Ekholm, it's going to be LA. I just got to compute how many games it's going to be in. I don't know.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. All the most recent reporting is Ekholm misses at least the first round. So, and I just pulled up the preview on the Athletic between the two. You know what the odds are? 50-50. 50-50. And it's like offensive powerhouse versus elite defensive powerhouse. Like it's a tale of two teams, obviously. But the fact that, like, again,
like head around elite defensive powerhouse
with Ekholm being out for the first round, and the fact that LA is one of, if not the best home team this year in the NHL, and they have home ice now. They're getting ridiculous scoring from all over the place too. Again, just how solid they've been defensively. Well, elite, how elite they've been defensively all year. I am gonna end up taking LA here. And again, same thing. Like, I guess you could probably say you don't really know what goaltender you're gonna get for either team. But if Edmonton does pull this off, obviously you need fucking Draisaitl, McDavid to go nuts, which like they're probably going to regardless. And you also really need Stuart Skinner to be elite. I didn't really love Edmonton's deadline at all. LA brought in like a Kuzmenko who's like getting hot now too. I like LA in the series. The fact they have home ice, the fact that they're so good defensively, and the fact that Ekholm's going to be out the first round. I'm taking LA, and I'm going to go. I'll go 7. I'll say 7.
I'm saying LA in 6. Mostly for this one, they're taking care of the home games.
Yeah.
And
fair.
Honestly, I've said this in the past. There's usually like a series each year in the first round that I'll say this about. It's either LA in 6 or Edmonton in 7. I think if it goes to 7, Edmonton figures out how to win.
Yeah, I mean, again, LA at home, like
it is LA at home. I get that, but like in a game 7, I don't care who's at home at that point. Like I'm more saying for the home thing, it's that LA is going to win all of their home games, and they just got to take one of those road games, and they got it in 6. If that makes sense. But for me, just the experience and the elite talent, like McDavid or Draisaitl is going to step up and win that game by themselves if it gets to 7. But I don't see it getting that far. And again, the biggest reason for me is Ekholm. Like, it's crazy to say that T.S. Ekholm is the difference maker for who wins this series, but like he is that important to them with how meh their blue line is, you know?
Yeah, no, it is unbelievable how like drastically different that blue line is if you do not have Matthias Ekholm. Like one player completely alters all 6 defensemen. but yeah. Kevin Fiala scores a series-winning goal, by the way.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we didn't even talk about is like some of the second round possibilities. Like we'll obviously get into it with this. Like if it was Minnesota, LA, can you imagine?
Ugh.
Just the hate, the storylines, so many things there. But like we could have the Kachucks playing each other in round 2. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that would be pretty gnarly.
I tell you what, wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be upset about it. I wouldn't not watch it, you know? But yeah, we'll talk with this. Obviously, we'll talk second round. It's a different day to discuss, but yeah. God, some of the matchups are just delicious, though.
Yeah.
Of course, because there's so many good first round matchups, you just know now it's gonna be like every fucking series is gonna be like a sweep or like 5. It's gonna suck. We're gonna get like just no fun fucking like 7-game series.
Yeah.
All right, so you got LA in 6. I'm taking LA in 7.
Yep.
So we got one.
Then we got the final series, which will cover the series, and then we will get into just everything else. News around the Wild, which there is no shortage. This is a weird one for me, man. And I won't even take full credit. Like on another podcast, What Chaos, shout out Pete Blackburn, who kind of no longer hates the Minnesota Wild. I'm waiting for him to kind of prove it, but whatever.
He's contractually obligated to hate it, you know, fucking he still has to.
On XD Everything app, he has said it, so it is real.
Yeah.
But they kind of pointed out that Vegas has just had the weirdest, most un-Vegas year. In the sense that, like, they've been good. That's not the question. It's there's been no noise, no news. They didn't have a big splash at the deadline. They signed. They didn't trade. They signed a first-round pick.
It made me sick. It made me sick.
You know the ownership puked.
It's like, we did what?
But like, there's just like, I feel like it's just like they're flying under the radar in such a weird way. And there's also like a little bit of uncertainty with like lingering injuries there, but largely I'm sure most of their guys are okay. But my thing is Jack Eichel terrifies me.
Oh yeah. That boy is a problem.
Even though he's got character flaws, we all know this. He's bad in the locker room, and that's a huge flaw, and no one should want to have him on their team. But
little coffee with an asshole cough.
What he can do terrifies me. And they got a lot of guys on their team that are good. Like, that's not to like discredit. Like, I think I'm one of the bigger Tomas Hertl fans. I really thought there was a chance that maybe there was a way that the Wild could find a way to bring him in, but whatever. He's really the only thing that like scares me though. If Kaprizov can ramp up and get back to his game, which he hasn't yet, he does not look like himself. I even posted at the game that we'll talk about more against the Ducks, but like I posted, I'm like, holy shit, like Judd'z literally just chased Kaprizov down at center ice. That's not good. But if he can get back to his game, Ek can stay healthy, our blue line is healthy, I think Philip Gustafsson alone, if everyone else is fine, he could win this series. I believe in him that much. He has been so good. People wanted him gone. He almost was gone. I never thought he would be this good. I still thought he could be our one, you know? And I'm just so happy for him that it's worked out. But he is the X factor in all of this. Can he outduel the other goalie? And I think he absolutely can. Now, will that necessarily be enough? No. But that's the answer there. If Gustafsson's not up to the task, we lose. If he is, buckle in. It's going to be a 6 or 7 game series going either way. What do you see being like the biggest factors to consider in this series on either team, whether it's matchup or whether it's just specifically what's going well or poorly for either team? Like, what stands out for narratives?
I mean, for me, the big thing, like, because I think it's crazy if anyone says like there's just no way that Minnesota could possibly, and like I'm gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna end up picking Minnesota just because like I'm such a fucking homer every time, whether it's like the fucking college tournament or it's I do this every time. I mean, realistically, yeah, I think like Vegas, I think the Athletic has like 73% to win this series, but I mean, I don't care about that either. The thing that is like the fact that it's like, oh, if Vegas, let's say, like if it comes to be that like Vegas just comes out and smashes them in like 5 games, it's special teams. Like that power play scares the fuck out of me. and so does Minnesota's penalty kill still. The past couple of weeks they've pulled off some great ones, but the fact that they make one big kill, you're like, oh my god, is this the turn? They figured out special teams. Special teams for me are going to be terrifying, but the fact that they have Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov back, potentially Booyam making his debut and giving you some offensive juice from the back end, assuming they deploy him correctly, him with Bogosian kind of scares me. At the same time, it's not like Booyam's a bad defenseman anyways. He's still solid, but
no, Z, you can only be good at offense or defense. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Although, hang on,
we've talked about this so many times. It drives me fucking crazy.
No. But to that point, we just have to pause quick because this is incredible. Let me pull up. Russo posted a conversation with Kirill Kaprizov about Z Booyam. I'm just going to read it verbatim because it's so good. Kirill Kaprizov had some great stuff today about Zeev, but this was the funniest. He's really good. I don't know how his defense is, but offense.
Damn it, Kirill.
Then Russo says he laughed hysterically at the joke. I'm just kidding. Then he says, I don't see him on defense. I just saw his highlights offense. And in the practice, we usually do some stuff on the power play and 1-on-1 or 1-on-0 or 2-on-1. I don't saw D-zone. I think he's good. He's a nice kid and so smart. I think. Skilled guy.
I think is great.
Just I don't know how his defense is, but offense had me peeing. That's it.
So
I don't know. It was so good.
God, that's phenomenal.
I'm so happy that Russo posted all of that, verbatim.
That's phenomenal.
So
and another side X factor that isn't really an actual X factor, but it's going to be, I bet it's on everyone's mind. I'm sure even though he's not, it's unlikely that he gets any playing time unless it's all gone to hell. The fact that this is going to be the last run with Fleury in an NHL locker room, that's going to be at least on everyone's mind.
Totally.
So between that, potentially getting Booyam in that lineup, give you some juice offensively from the back end and quarterbacking that power play potentially like he did today in practice. We'll see.
Which is
and
awesome
then getting
that happened. Now everyone's freaking out. Is he gonna? Is he not? Oh, Hines is playing it close to his chest. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, then you get Kaprizov back, Eriksson Ek back, and Boldy the last couple of weeks. That Boldy game against Dallas was one of the best games I've ever seen him play for Minnesota. He was unbelievable. And he's had a couple games where he has just been a beast. Obviously scored that overtime winner in that last game. Thank God.
No,
there's a little anxiety there. Can
we play a quick game?
Given the vibes, I like all of that coming in for Minnesota.
Well, let's play a quick game. Who's the asshole? Because we all love Matt Boldy, and there's so many people that criticize him way too much. I'm also not going to be one that's going to sit here and glaze him. And we're getting beers at Loose Line. Again, everyone go out to Plymouth and check them out.
Love it.
And Isha says he's just glad that Boldy finally came in and proved himself as a franchise guy. And I damn near spit out my beer because I don't think he's proven that at all. He has had really good games. And when he's on, he looks every bit that part. He's still disappeared for half the season. And I don't care who's out of the lineup. If you want to prove yourself as a franchise guy, you do it without the other guys around you. I still have all the hope and optimism that he will be that kind of guy. But am I the asshole for saying he absolutely didn't prove that this year? Or is Isha the asshole for thinking that having the stretches that he did that were good qualifies as yep, you're a franchise guy?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have him there yet. I've seen enough to be I believe he's going to prove himself to be that. Right.
I'm there.
So I'm with your optimism. But yeah, I mean, obviously,
there's been big lulls this year, right? Like there's still concern.
I also still do think it's pretty tough to like gauge any player on this roster given how insane this year was as far as like injuries. Like this was like it's insane top to bottom in the organization in general, NHL, AHL, like everywhere how bad the injuries were. So I think it's still tough to gauge, but I'm with you though. Like I believe he's going to be, and I've seen like again, like when you have those games against like Dallas where he just was a fucking monster. Yeah, we've seen the flashes. It's tough to gauge like the season as a whole, just given how fucked up the whole year was. But I've seen enough to believe it's going to be. Yeah, I'm with you.
Because like again, like what you're saying isn't untrue, and I'm not trying to shit on him and say that he's bad or anything like that. Pittsburgh Penguins, do they have a good roster?
No.
Is their roster worse than the Wild's?
Mm-hmm.
How'd Sidney Crosby do this year?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not
saying he's Sidney Crosby, but my point is, you can carry the load on your own. I'm not saying every single game, every second, you have to be putting up 3 points a game. Like, I'm just saying, for him to disappear for the long stretches that he did, and like literally be invisible for a handful of games, that is not a franchise player. That's my point.
Yeah, no, again, I think we're saying the same thing. He's not there yet, but
no, I know.
I've seen the flash of the blue. I mean, you could say
that's
something
just my counter to using the roster and the injuries as a defense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and you could say the same thing in Boston. What David Pastrnak just did,
right? Yeah, Pasternak's end of the year.
Holy fuck.
That is a franchise player, and I think Boldy has the talent, and he's going the right direction. And like Marcus Foligno, when asked about like, hey, how have you seen Boldy change this year? Nothing about the ice. Like he's one of the leaders now. Like he's become more vocal. He stepped in when things are going bad. He's going the right direction. Yeah. He's still young. I have all the faith in him. I'm just saying he has not put that stamp on paper.
Yeah, and I think like a big contributing factor to like which way this conversation goes is just fucking like social media just being like it's one or the other, and if he's not a franchise guy, then he never will. It's like just dealing in absolutes or whatever. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's still super young, early on in this contract, and like I think we've seen the flashes to believe that he's on the pathway to being thought of as like a franchise guy. Just waiting, or just not there completely yet, but like you've seen the flashes, so it's like it doesn't have to be like an absolute one or the other thing.
For sure. And I do think we already kind of hit on it, but like Cole says here, I straight up don't trust Adin Hill in net for them. Mm-hmm. That is the difference, right? Like Gustafsson is notedly better. We've seen Hill perform. Like he can be that guy, especially for a 7-game series, but that is where we absolutely outshine them.
It's also tough when you spell it ADIN. You just can't, what are we doing? Why is that the way you spell it? It's also funny, and I also agree with Cole. I'm preface that. It's also funny to say that about a guy that won a cup 2 years ago. but I am on the same page though. Like I was shocked when he got it done the first time.
No, very fair. I will say too, the biggest thing for me that's a positive for the Wild, because like I want to bring some positivity here, because I think there's a lot of people like across the league that are just like ignoring this series. Like they probably lump this one close to the Carolina, New Jersey vibes. And I brought this up on Fellowship of the Rink that dropped earlier today, but if the Wild lose to the Ducks, regulation like they almost did, and get into the playoffs because the Flames can't take care of business tonight, it is such a different vibe and feel for the team going in. Right now, they are riding the craziest emotional vibe. They rallied to win that game and lock their playoff spot, which is awesome. But then everything with Fleury, all of it has them going in such a different mindset than if they like backed their way in, sweating it out, watching another team lose. I think it puts them in a completely different spot. That game 1, Here's my stance. If we're going to talk predictions, I think Vegas wins in 7. I think the Wild take game 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wild take game 1. Vegas takes the next 2. We knotted up on the second one at home. And then from there, we alternate. They take it in 7. But like if I'm betting, man, I'm taking Vegas. There's so many reasons if you look up and down the roster. But, man, if our blue line is firing on all cylinders, if Gustafson's on top of his game, and we get the real Kirill Kaprizov back, this is a very winnable series. It really is. I'm just not personally going to bet on it.
It's like, is it winnable? Yes. The thing is, how many ifs we had to just say to get, you know what I mean?
But I think the only if that really worries me is Kaprizov. I think the blue line is going to stand up. I think
it's crazy. Like looking at their numbers, even when they had half of like a full team, like defensively, their numbers have stayed quite like as far as like they give up high volume, low quality.
But is that a result of their lack of offense? Like, is that them adjusting their game to accommodate for the fact that they know they're not putting up as many goals?
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, sure, but that's been their like identity for a long. Like, they've always been a pretty solid like defensive team, anyways. But I'm with you though. I'm just going with the heart pick. I'm going Wild in 7. Probably
make me an asshole.
Like
Got it.
6 because going back to Vegas for a game 7 isn't ideal, obviously. But
yeah, so Russo's prediction. Everyone should watch Fellowship of the Ring and pretend I'm not saying this, but Russo said Vegas in 6, and Joe immediately is like, I'm gonna say Vegas in 7 because that means that Russo gets to take one more trip to Vegas, and I know that'd make him really happy.
It's a good guy. That's a team guy. I
literally opened the interview by congratulating Russo that he gets to go to Vegas instead of Winnipeg.
Russo was shitting himself for so many weeks. He's like, I either am gonna end up in Vegas or Winnipeg, and I'm losing my fucking mind.
It is like the most polar opposite result for him. His least favorite and most favorite places to go.
It's very funny. Like it was very just funny. Like that's where his head was, dude. He's like, where am I gonna be? But
yeah. So predictions are out there. Let's just talk Wild now.
What a fucking roller coaster! What a
dude. So I was at that game.
Yeah.
You met my buddy, the tall, skinny Eric.
Yes.
He left with 2.5 minutes left in the game. I brought that up on the podcast too, and Russo said, I need to write a story on the idiot that left with 2.5 minutes left. I'm like, buddy, you have no idea how long this story would be, but yes, you should write a story on this man in the offseason. But he left, and funny thing is, the one time that he and I both left, it was, I think, 2 years ago, season opener at home for the Wild against the Winnipeg Jets. And I believe the Wild were down 6-4 with like literally a minute and a half left. And he's like, all right, can we go? Because he was going to give me a ride. I'm like, sure, dude, we can go, whatever. My phone is blowing up on the walk back to the car. I'm like, dude, it's going to overtime. It's fucking tied. We fucking sprinted to Tom Reed's and the Wild won in overtime. And we like celebrated there. But I'm like, we will never leave a game early again. Fuck you. You're an asshole. He's like, fair, understood. So then in this game, he like looks at me. He's like, hey, I'm going to leave. Bye. He's like, I know you're not coming. See ya.
Wait, it was the Jets game a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like that was a mid-November game, 2021.
No, dude, that was game 1 of the season for the Wild. So maybe it's a different one.
They do it again against them? Oh.
Must have, but it was just like crazy that it worked out that way. So in this one, I like literally text him right away. I'm like, you fucked up, dude. He's like, yeah, I know, I saw. I'm like, no, you don't know, because he and I were talking all game, because I told him, like, dude, if this goes to overtime, I'm going to be screaming at the top of my lungs, even though I don't have a voice, that they need to fucking put Fleury in because the game doesn't matter anymore because you've locked it up.
Yeah.
And like, we're laughing. I'm like, there's no way they'll do it. Whatever. Like, I threw up a poll on Twitter. Like, I was tweeting about it the whole time. When it happened, like, It's like the Grinch when his heart grew 3 sizes. I was just like, holy shit. He fucking did it.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Dude, like, it was annoying that they put themselves in that position down the stretch to where we couldn't get one regular season game of Zeev Buium, and like you really had to fucking pull out to win the most ridiculous fashion possible. At the same time, I don't think I would have drawn it up any other way. The fact that, you know, you get Eriksson Ek to tie it up with 22 seconds left. What a fucking initial save by Dostal. The fucking paddle save, fully spread out, and then obviously he taps it home. First of all, the goal in general was unbelievable. Those 2 passes were sick. But then we get Marc-Andre Fleury to come back in for overtime for one final time. We get a 2-pad stack before the puck leaves the fucking zone. They hit the post. In the middle of the play, says thank you to the post. Then goes back. He's cross-checking guys in the back. And then they go and they get it. They get it done in overtime. What a play by Johansson. What a shot by Matt Boldy.
The greatest assist that will be ignored and forgotten because Fleury will overshadow it. But that play by Johansson, that whole
he's been really good by the way.
That game by Johansson, he was the best player of that game. And
he's been really good down the stretch.
He has, but that was the game where like the things that he's doing that maybe aren't as noticeable, all of them were noticed in that game. Like LaPanta had to have been doing backflips up in the press box, dude.
Oh, insane, dude.
Which, sorry, we're gonna take a quick side tangent because it bothered me so much, so fucking much. We're Seats in the House, great podcast. Michael Russo and Tony Pants. And Tony says, absolute no-brainer for both the Wild and Marco Rossi if Marco signs a 5x5.
Yeah.
I was running around the neighborhood trying to find a puppy that I could punch. Dude, and even like Russo was like, yeah, it's definitely a no-brainer for the Wild. And then like LaPanta kept on defending why it was like good for Rossi. And like I could hear, because I'm only listening to it again, kind of like with Zach earlier, like I could hear Russo's cringe and just like, I'm not going to turn this into a 20-minute argument where you're not going to agree with me. So I'm just going to say nothing. There is no conceivable world where Marco Rossi will or should take a 5x5 deal. That is insulting. That is the most drinking the Kool-Aid homerism I've ever fucking heard from LaPanta. It disgusted me. Like, this isn't like, I just don't like, am I crazy? Like, is that even remotely like maybe a 2x5?
Right. Literally.
Like Marco Rossi taking a 5x5 would be insane. If he did it, I'd love it.
I would throw a parade if he like. I would throw a Stanley Cup-esque parade if he took a 5x5.
Also, dude, on Marco Rossi, quick side tangent. Before we actually like hit the record button, Russo is just like, "Hey Scott, what are you gonna do to replace that jersey behind you?" I'm like, "I don't know. Which player do you not want here anymore?" I got a pretty good track record. I got Pitlick out of here. I got Addison out of here. Rossi's going to be gone. Who do you want out of here? He's like, I'm going to have to think on that.
Literally need him to, yeah, exactly.
But man, I'm just
5x5
so sad that
nuts.
it's like basically a foregone conclusion that he's gone. And sucks.
Sickening. That's for sure. God, I hate that. But
he's just not committed enough to the team, man.
Yeah, fucking crazy. Yeah, that's gotta be it.
The thing is, so like Russo too is like teeing it up like, hey, this is like the biggest series ever for Marco Rossi.
Yeah.
For his future. And I'm like, I don't agree. I think he's gone regardless. Right. I think if he performs, it just means Billy gets a better return. I think John Hines wants nothing to do with Marco Rossi.
That would be mind-blowing to me.
Dude, look at how he's been used.
I
Like,
know.
yeah, he's been
We've talked about
deployed.
this before. Yeah.
He's been deployed well when no one else is fucking in the roster. Now he's the 3C.
Right.
Like, there was, I can't even remember which game it was. It's going to bother me now, but there was a game where like people were losing their mind that he wasn't being played in overtime.
Yeah.
John Hines has something going on with Marco Rossi. And I don't know if it's that he's like, why won't you talk to me about kangaroos, you Australian
Maybe.
motherfucker?
Good steak on the barbie.
I just,
Austria.
I'm so defeated and resigned to the fact, like, all right, he's gone, I guess. Let's see if Billy can at least like get a return that makes me not hate it. Like, it just sucks. He's turned into exactly what we hoped he'd be, and we don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I mean, I do think there's a world, like, let's say the Wild win the series. He's the best player in the series, and he pops off, like, whatever, 11, 12 points in 7 games. Like,
Then we're getting Tage Thompson.
Yeah, we'll get Tage Thompson, as the Buffalo Sabres say. Let's get a little smaller.
I'd like to be clear. If Tage Thompson, and it won't be a 1-for-1, but if there's some package that involves Rossi going there and Thompson coming here, I'll shut the fuck up. I'll rip the jersey down, and I will throw a Tage Thompson jersey up and be happy. But like,
won't you throw that up if that happens?
that world's not. That's true. I can't. I can't.
On the
hang that
other
jersey
side
up.
of the camera. No, just put it on the other side of the wall.
Let's see. They want me to. Okay, Wild fans want me to hang a Merrill jersey, a Bogosian jersey, a Goudreau jersey, a Johansson jersey.
Eventually, someone's like, "Get a fucking Bill Garrett jersey for trading Husadinov." Yeah, put that behind there.
Here's an interesting topic. Riley Mihawk asks, isn't an offer sheet for Rossi a great return in picks? Depends on what that number is. And I think teams are pretty smart about which number to offer. Like, you look at what St. Louis did. They offered $1 below the tier break for both players. I don't think Rossi's going to get offer sheeted for $9 million.
Right.
He could get offer sheeted like the next tier down, and it's
5x5.
Imagine a 5x5 offer sheet. Although the Wild would match it then, and then LaPanta could yell at me and say he was right, which would be painful, but I'd accept it.
There's nothing he would love more. There's nothing he'd rather do.
If Rossi signed a 5x5 offer sheet, I'd almost stop and be like, don't match it. We do not want him here. He's clearly got CTE, and he's not going to last another 2 years.
Fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think an offer sheet's happening. I think Rossi's getting traded before that. I think he's getting traded before the draft. If he's getting traded, or maybe at the draft, I don't know. But oh man, let's move on to something more positive.
I was gonna say, I'm just not gonna go there, right? I can't get my brain there again. I've lived there the whole year, but
I was gonna say my brain's been there for months. So.
I was gonna say I don't know why I don't know why I said that, because we talk about this almost every week. But
let's go positive. Do you think we're getting Zeev Buium game 1?
I think so. I think they're crazy if they don't.
I don't disagree, but then again, everyone online was saying they're crazy for not playing in game 82, and people got mad, dude. It was actually very funny, like, because people weren't saying like, "Wow, they're fucking idiots," but like there was some good argument. Like Gage Osmus like makes a whole post about like, you see what a guy like Cale Makar does coming in late in the season. You see what these other guys did. Zeev Buium scored more points in college than all of them. And our team is more deficient with scoring on the blue line than any of those. Mm-hmm. It's just weird to me that they won't do this. And then like a guy like Gorg comes in, he's like, yeah, it's crazy because there's people who like do this for a living and they know what they're doing, and they don't think he should be in. What's going on? It's like,
it's always funny. I love
Gorg, you got to calm the fuck down, dude.
I love those boomer takes. I love them.
Like, it's not even like a shot or hate against Gorg, because like a lot of other people did it, but like he specifically was the one that I like saw when I scrolled, and it's like, you got to relax. Like, clearly this is plucking a nerve if you feel the need to comment this to Gage.
Yeah,
like,
whatever. Yeah.
I don't know, but I understood the decision. I didn't agree with it, if that makes sense. Like, like the rationale is there. I totally understand them not playing him. The agent totally understood. He understood. But for me, the great thing is like he's sitting there in the press box watching that game and he's like, this is going to be a fun place to play. And on the flip side, the guy who stole his rookie lap from the other bench, Tim Washi, is he's sitting there being like, what the fuck did I do? I could have been here.
This would have been cool.
This would have been real fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think we get Z Bouillon NHL debut in game 1. And again, we've talked about this for a while now. Like, I do think he's going to be able to be in a situation where you can really play him to his strengths. Like, you're not going to like have to match him up against like fucking Jack Eichel or any of their top 6. Like, he's probably not going to get a ton of minutes, but like he might be on that first power play unit, maybe the second, whatever. He's going to get looks. But again, just the fact that that's another guy that can transition the puck for you. And then in the offensive zone, he's offering you a little bit of offense from that back end that's so like absent right now and has been for a while. I just think you're crazy to not throw that out there. And like, you're going to tell me, and I'm not saying you, John Hines, you're going to tell me that like, there's no chance that the Wild could possibly beat Vegas if you put in fucking Z Bouillon over John Merrill, who that's not even really like the biggest shot at John Merrill. Cause I think he's actually more or less
quite well.
Like he
doesn't need to be replaced. It's just, how do you not?
It's just like, you're not getting like a crazy like drop off in Z Bouillon, but you're getting some like way significantly more like offensive upside. So yeah, I think you get Z Bouillon game 1. And again, I'm curious to see. I was nervous. I thought he got hurt, dude. I thought he got hurt a few times in that fucking tournament, to be honest with you. I still can't believe he played fucking 51 minutes.
Dude, I was walking the concourse behind him, and
you were saying that,
he was like so down and defeated, which like hard to feel bad for a guy that just won 3 championships in a row.
Yeah.
But also like he is one of 3 guys for Denver that showed up for the majority of that game.
Yeah.
The one that actually, I won't say surprised me because like we knew he was good, but like Polkamp stood out. He played a fucking great game, and dude, way thicker than I realized. He's a
he's a big boy. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Really big.
He's a player, dude. Yeah, he's fun.
But like it was those 2 in Davis, and that was like that's it.
Oh, I know.
That was it.
I don't think I've ever seen that version of Denver. I've never seen like that stale of a team. It was weird. But I mean, just the fact they even get that game to overtime, considering what they looked like after 40 minutes, it's how fucking good they are. Like, they can, like, when they turn it on for 5 minutes, it's like the scariest 5 minutes of your life if you're going up against them. It's like, oh fuck. But anyways, yeah, Z Bouillon, game 1, NHL debut. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be so awesome. And you know what's gonna be really awesome, Z, especially for you. I didn't even think about this until just a second. Tuesday, you get an 11 p.m. start, which means really probably like an 11:20 puck drop.
What the fuck? Like, that's
hang on. Let me do my best Gary Bettman impression.
Yeah, that's good. Dude, insane. But the schedule is fucking asinine. Throw up, vomit, puke everywhere when I saw the fucking like starting times for this fucking specifically this series.
Oh fuck, dude! 9 o'clock Central local time on Easter Sunday. Although I will say, I love how they
that's gonna be a drug building. That's gonna be a drug building.
I do love how they buried Carolina, New Jersey, 3:30 on Easter. Like that is the game that no one will watch. No one cares.
No one fucking cares. Yeah, the one redeeming quality of that 9 p.m. home game Central. Again, I'm just saying 9 p.m. home game for you guys. It seems like that building might be quite shit-faced. Just like when game
9 p.m. home game is actually Vegas. It's 9 p.m. here, but it'll be 7 in Vegas.
Yeah. But it's also, it reminds me of, it was, was it last year or 2 years ago? I think it was game 1 2 years ago in Boston, when the year that they were whatever best of the NHL. Game 1 was on fucking Marathon Monday, which is one of the drunkest like days in the drunkest city in America. It was fucking chaos. People were drinking from 7 a.m. until 7 a.m. Like, it was insane.
Well, so, couple narratives for this year. Big miss by the NHL. They should have had the season end tonight as we record Thursday, because it was the perfect opportunity to have 3 or 4 series start tomorrow. And literally the memes that would come out of it of a team dying on Friday and rising from the dead on Sunday for game 2 writes itself. And I also got to know, how many iterations are we going to see of like someone in an Easter Bunny costume, like passed out on the ground with like a broken egg on their head because it's 420?
Yeah.
There's a day for God to rise, for Jesus to rise. It's that day.
It is that day, dude.
But yeah, the schedule is very frustrating. Now, a lot of people are like confused, like, how can you do this? You're like killing ratings, and like there's like you're losing fans, you're not growing the game. I understand everyone's frustration, but let's be real.
You know this league?
But also, if I'm Gary Bettman, one, you hate the Central Time Zone, you're gonna fuck them every time anyways. But 2, Minnesota is one of the like bigger, more reliable fan bases. They're gonna watch regardless.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're gonna lose kids and like parents that wake up really early, maybe, but you're gonna keep the majority, and it's not gonna matter.
You know what's gonna be nuts? If we live long enough to see the Buffalo Sabres in the playoffs again.
I'm not gonna live that long.
Yeah, I mean, I said that's a big old if. If that ever happens. It's great. They're a top 3 market as far as like watching the playoffs on TV every year.
Most years they're 1 or 2.
Yeah, which is like almost sickening.
Honestly, I
like, you guys need to relax.
I respect them very much.
Yeah, no, that's
I feel
great. But if they ever make the playoffs again, if we live long enough to see that day,
I'll jump through the table.
I mean, I guess we can't really beat the ratings. Because we're already here, but God.
They'll be doing midnight puck drops.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Fucking Wednesday, 11 a.m. game 4.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know, man. We got anything else? I think we made up for.
No, I think the one thing we just have to cover, which like we'll see what comes of it, whatever, but I would argue our favorite prospect, maybe, at least mine, but I'm going to say our favorite prospect is officially a member of the Wild. Is that a fair statement or no?
It feels good. I'm there. I'm with you.
Riley Heidt is in Iowa. I can't wait to see what he does. I love him. I want him to come in and be the anti-Rossi. Like, I want him to be the guy that, like, Garen's like, I have no choice. I have to give this guy whatever he asks for.
What do you mean? I'm not going to give him a Matthews deal? What are you, fucking nuts?
But also, the one thing, I guess, because we talked earlier about how sick McKenna is, and, like, I made the joke about Ryder Ritchie, like, I'd love for him to go to the Gophers, but, like, how good has he been?
Yeah, no, he's been it was a weird year for Prince George. They started off not great, and then they finished real hot, pretty close to the top of that division. That playoff series was crazy too, went 7. But he's just been, again, like, even games where he wasn't on the score sheet, you just see him like affecting the game in all 3 zones. It's also, he got a couple fights this year. He's got thrown out of a couple of games, racking up some PIMs. Good for him. Love that. Versatile fucking stat line. But he's just been so fucking solid. I still think in the NHL he ends up playing wing. Just makes more sense to me. But again, like, just that dual threat offensively, how smart he is, and the fact that he just doesn't sacrifice anything going the other way. Like, he's just an awesome player. I also just think like listening to him talk, he just sounds like a guy that's going to be able to come in the NHL whenever he gets here, just fit right in. Like he's got that mindset too. So just been solid last year he was outrageous on that ridiculous Prince George team. And even this year, like didn't put up the same number of points, but still was like right around 1.5. But just injecting some serious talent into the lineup.
I think you flipped on me there. I was talking about someone else after Riley Heidt. You know that I transitioned from Riley Heidt to talk about someone else, yeah?
Nope.
Yeah, that's why I said we were talking about Gavin McKenna and how sick he is, and then I made jokes about how cool it would be for Ryder Ritchie to play for the Gophers. How sick has his year been?
Also very sick. Here's a fun fact. They're playing right now. They're playing Prince Albert right now with 16 minutes left for the second period. He has 6 shots on net. It's just like rifling pucks right now. But it's tough, especially lately. Anytime you put on a Medicine Hat game, like it's just the Gavin McKenna show, and it's like, what? I don't know how he keeps getting better every game, but he is. But either way, Ryder Ritchie, again, like, despite the fact that it's just like, again, the Gavin McKenna show right now, every single time Medicine Hat steps on the ice. Like, there was like a period of like 25, 30 games where like Ryder Ritchie was like factoring in on almost every fucking goal that they scored. And again, you just like see like the high end skill. I know another dual threat offensively. He's a playmaker, but he's also got just a phenomenal shot too. And yeah, another kid that has a great celly. I love Ryder Ritchie, very fun player. Again, like we talked about this early on this season too, where it's like I definitely had him firmly in that, like right at the end of that first round.
Hey, you can't say firmly when you had him ranked like 30.
No, I think I had like 27, 26, 27.
Did you?
He was like, when I say firmly, it was like there was like 5 guys I was debating whether or not I wouldn't have put the first round. Like he was like the cutoff where I was like, no, he's a first round pick for me.
Sure.
Fair. But yeah, no, he's just been awesome. They're so fucking fun to watch. God, they score at will. It is very entertaining. And they're playing Prince Albert, the whole team right now.
If he went to the Gophers, it'd be great.
I'd scream.
Fair. I like that. Well, on that, I think we're at a good spot here. Longer one to make up for how long we've been gone. We're back. Mondays moving forward, normal time, unless we tell you different. But
unless we change your mind.
Unless we just don't, then you'll know because we did.
That's my favorite caveat.
But no,
obviously we're gonna be back to normal unless we decide not to be.
Well, but that is normal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
No, appreciate all of you that reached out in the interim and were like, where the hell are you guys? I don't know what to do right now. Like, small ego inflation, but you guys are all awesome. It's fun having all of you jump in the chat and to chime in. But Monday, regular time, we will talk to you all then. We'll have one game for the Wild to break down. I guess one game for most teams, and probably get a little bit more into some of the prospect stuff as well. But Z, you can shut her down.
Yeah, and also thanks again to Zach for jumping on with us. That was great. Try to get him back in at some point. If
he'll come back in. He already messaged me and said he's all about it. But he's
if that series is 2-2,
his first message was "fuck the Sens."
If that series is 2-2, I think he's gonna be a little busy if it's going to Game 7. But at 2-2, or if it's Senators 2-1, I need to get him back in here and just, I'm not even gonna say where, I'll be like, go ahead, open therapy session. Good.
I was gonna say, just put the glasses on and like have the notepad and just like, all right, lay down on the couch. Tell me how did that make you feel?
I would have taken the couch from our living room, put it like right here, and I'll just be sitting there like,
dude. See, if you had moved out here sooner, my wife used to have one of those like Chase Lounge couches that she has since taken and brought to like, she got a bigger office at work, so she has it there. But like, I wanted to come up with some kind of like video series where it's literally like, all right, therapy session, go. How did the Wild hurt you this week? Could have been great, but doesn't matter.
Yeah. What? We'll be back whenever we're back, as long as we
That is
cover
accurate.
Wizards, which isn't a guarantee, I guess. So thank you for everyone tuning in. All 731 bots.
Only like 721 are bots.
There. That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's not the outro. Mateo, we need you.